and then yeah, we'll whatever. But I'm gonna wait until some people show up this time because I've got some poetry to read, so I'm gonna wait until some people are here to read it too. Definitely not going to read this poetry until someone's here. If someone's here, make yourself known. I will gladly speak to you. We will talk a little bit, but yeah, I've had some realizations, some revelations. And also, it's a Friday. Who the fuck's going to be online? Oh shit. Oh man, so then I guess if, why the fuck would anyone be here on a Friday? I just realized. I mean, it'd be cool if they are, but I don't know if they will be. It's a fucking Friday, man. Who would want to fucking... Well, I mean, not everyone has shit to do on a Friday just because it's a Friday, but... Yeah, I forget that. Well, you know what, there's two people here. Make yourselves known. Say something. And then I'll read the poetry. Well, I mean, it'd be cool if there was some more people, but... Yeah. Yeah, man. It's funny because I'm really reading poetry about how I shouldn't even be fucking streaming. Because in a lot of ways I shouldn't be. At least... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could just fucking read it. Even if no one says anything. Why shouldn't I? Yeah. I'm not gonna say shit until someone says something. I'm not saying shit. No fucking way. Hello, I was waiting for you to go live. Sorry I haven't been around. It was a busy week. Man, I'm glad you're here, man. Alf McDunkel, are you... Yes, you are that guy. Nice to see you, man. Yeah. I was like, guy that's into hairy guys. I think. That's so trivial. That's such a shit way of fucking viewing someone. It's so dehumanizing. To just reduce someone down to that, but that's what the internet is. Honestly, yeah, man, I need to read this fucking poetry, and yeah, the shit I'm about to read is very destructive in topic, not in delivery. I'm not like a slam poet. I'm not suddenly gonna start going going all crazy, because I don't need to do that. It's more just what I'm saying is very inherently kind of dangerous in a certain way, because it's somewhat nuking the premise of what I'm doing, I'm not really a streamer. I don't know how many of you can tell I'm not really a streamer. I think most of you probably could. But yeah, fuck looking at the stats, man. It's annoying. I'm only going to be able to tell who's here based off of anyone who turns up in chat, because I'm not going to... But yes, I'm glad you're here, man, by the way. But yeah, I'm making I'm going to read something that's pretty intense, but I think it's also important because I think we do this to ourselves a lot. I'm in a soulful mood. I'm in a serious mood. I'm not in a lighthearted mood, because I've kind of been realizing... I just realized some things about myself. And it's funny, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm putting you on the spot, Alf, because you're not always the most vocal. I feel like you always come in with funny zingers every now and then. And I'm holding you hostage as I think one of the only people here so far, so it's funny. like in making you. um, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes, like this stream is whatever it is. It has to be this way because I'm not even really. I don't know. Like streaming follows all these. Like I'm not really a streamer, but I stream. You know what I mean? Like to me, like I'm not really a streamer. Otherwise I'd be like 50 points or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what they do. Like they have always. I can tell it's going to be good. I feel like I miss so much. Well, yeah. I mean, I suppose I've gotten somewhat better, but I can tell this is going to be good. That's funny. Yeah, it probably will be. Yeah. I mean, I'm just waiting for more people to turn up because I don't want it to. I don't want to just read something that I've spent so long writing. And then more importantly, have to read it again. Because that's. But then I don't know how many people are going to turn up, man. Because it is a Friday. And like usually people, they have lives. I mean, I'm not saying you don't have a life. Well, actually, that's exactly what I'm saying. No, I'm saying that. Well, you happen to have you happen to be free at 11 p.m. on a Friday. So, but that doesn't mean you don't have a life. But it does mean that a lot of people my age probably are doing stuff, or they don't know I'm online yet, which is often the case. So it's like, yeah. I mean, it'll be good providing enough people turn up. And you know what? If it takes too long for people to turn up, I'll be willing to read it. I'm willing to read it a couple of times because it's kind of intense, but it also highlights so many things. So honestly, if more people don't show up, I'm willing to just read it to you because of course. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's really important because I don't know how many people have this kind of thing happen to them. Where they kind of inadvertently end up like living, I know this is going to sound intense, but just like living lesser lives because no one around them reflects their potential, because everyone has some vested interest in who you turn out to be or who you are to them, right? And so in a lot of ways, hang on. I don't want to have a life right now. This week has been shit, and I don't want to talk to humans right now. Not that I'm saying you're not a human. Dude, you know what? This will probably... You couldn't have turned up to... Like, I have... This... I'm right there with you, man. Like, I'm right here with you. I'm right there with you in that sentiment. Like, yeah. And I think the thing I've written is very much to do with... I don't know. I mean, for me, I don't know. You say things have been shit. This week has been shit. I don't know why. But things also for me have been shit. And I'll say my reason, and maybe it's your reason. I don't know. I'd be interested to know your reason. I'd be interested to know. If whatever you're willing or bothered, most importantly, bothered to say about it, if you want to. Do you know what I mean? If you want to talk about it, like it's up to you. Because I know how it feels to want to talk about something and also not want to. So it's completely up to you, bro. If you'd rather not, that's totally fine. But yeah, if anything, quickly before you respond, I will just say I feel like the thing that's been making my life a bit shit is just, being underappreciated and it's not really that simple, because you say, oh, I feel underappreciated, and it's like what? It's like, it's very, that can mean like 1,000, 20,000 things, and how it manifests exactly, it just depends. But yeah, as I say, I'm all ears if you want to tell me, and if you don't. But if you don't want to talk about it, then just say you don't want to talk about it, so then I can like just dismiss that. It's either way is valid, but I'm all ears, and if not, I'll speak. It says there are 2 viewers, but only you're speaking. So if other person say something, or it's like one of my old friends coming to like see what all the hubbub's about, but they're not going to say shit. Excuse me, because yes, I do. My relationships are a bit complicated. Though I love them. I love those fuckers, but they think I'm... I don't know what they think. I'm not going to put words in their mouth. But yeah, I don't know. It's probably just some random guy. I don't know. Who knows? Should I read it? You know what? taking a bit too long. I just don't have to read it again because it's quite long. It's good though, but it's a bit long. So once I start, I don't have to like start it again. One moment, I'm just gonna check my live stream on YouTubes because I want to see what YouTubes has to say about it. All right. You know what? I guess I'm getting impatient. And no, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait it out. We're gonna wait it out a bit. You, Alf, and then one silent person. Like I don't know, like silent guy just watching. Even though I'm like fully asking for your engagement because I'm about to read something that's quite personal. Well, fuck it, I don't care that it's personal, but it's just kind of deep, you know. And I don't know if there's like a digital crowd. It's nice to like if you say something, I can actually just go like, oh right, cool. Fuck man, I probably need designated times, but say something, anything. All right, here we go. I guess we'll do it. I can't be bothered to wait anymore. Here we go. This doesn't really have a name. This poem doesn't really have a name, and arguably it's not even a poem. It's just writing. But okay, here we go. I've responded. I have been working on boring stuff, servers, compatibility layers, OS problems, so tech, hardware problems, and I have had to work with others that all want to try different methods, and it's a practical, it's like very practical, just irritating, like frustrating, irritating, clashes of personality and kind of like. But like in such a, but like not in a superficial sense. Yeah. Okay, so not like. I'm not going to assume it's just that though, but yeah. So because there's no clear like, not leader, but like willingness to like, how should I put it? Like not put people in their right places, but I guess hierarchy, right? Like it sounds like there's no hierarchy, and it's just everyone's word against each other, which is bad for obvious reasons, like because you need hierarchy or just some way to administrate order, right? So it's like, okay, we'll try this guy's first. This guy's had the most experience, he goes first, and all this kind of stuff. But it's just, it sounds like just a free for all, basically, of your word against everyone else's, and just like, yeah, it's pretty shit. So I suppose just like, no. But in the absence of a hierarchy, then, or at least it seems that's what it sounds like. You've got just like extreme competitiveness built on personality structure. It's like in other words, what I'm trying to say is like what sounds annoying about this is that there could be someone who's really clever and actually knows, the answer or knows the right thing, but when it becomes like a free for all like that, it's not about the smartest person anymore. It's about who can just win the argument, right? I'm just making assumptions here, but that's what sounds frustrating about it, potentially. It's just like because it won't be about who's the smartest or who knows what the right thing to do is. It's going to be about personality purely. It's going to be about who can like, I don't know, who wins the argument. Who through personality and just conviction and their ability to dominate the conversational argument. That's what it sounds like. I'm just guessing. I could be wrong though, and I'm guessing that's what's frustrating about it. But I could be completely wrong. But I mean, that sounds like what would be stressful about it, because it becomes not even about who's the most informed or who makes the most who could like literally just make the right decisions. It becomes about like everyone's word against each other, right? Or not? I don't know. You tell me. Why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell me if you're such a patriot? That's my Jesse Ventura impression. Why did I do that? But yeah, go on. I'm all ears. Why don't you tell me if you're such a patriot? Everyone's competing to solve the problem first, but if we just put a list together and follow it, we would fix the problem by processively. Yeah. So it's just like. But then what ended up happening instead is what I'm basically asking. Like, what, like, because yeah, obviously that's like the solution. Like, obviously the solution is to just, you know. Yeah, that's really frustrating. Yeah, it's like horrible. I think what's really sad about it is potentially just seeing chaos reign over like order when it could be so obviously. Order could so easily and obviously be attained. It's like everyone's chosen chaos, essentially. Yeah, that's a bit sad. That's annoying. Very technical reasons, I suppose. Less personal, but it's funny how these technical things end up being so frustrating. They start cutting into our own. It's always a fucked up thing when like technical matters get so frustrating that they start hurting on a personal level. Like, essentially, because that's what it sounds like. It's just like, you know, like we're having these like really solvable, like intellectual, like kind of mentally orientated issues that just are being solved so badly that it starts to hurt, essentially, which is like really depressing. It starts to actually physically hurt, as if I'm in pain about something, as if there's like, you know, it's not just an intellectual thing. It becomes, there were multiple problems and they got fixed, but there was no reward to be the first to solve the problems. Why did they act like there was? I don't get it. Yeah, well, because I suppose we all act. Yeah, you're not really asking me that question, are you? But yeah, everyone has different worldviews, innit? Like some people buy capitalism wholesale, the notion that you're supposed to like be the brightest and the fastest and the smartest at all times, and that really is what will, like, you know. And so I suppose someone who thinks like that, their rationale would be like, no, I need to be the first to do it because, you know, the early bird gets the worm, the smartest one, the strongest, the smartest one wins, gets more money, gets more praise, gets more money. You know, that's what the basis of all competition is, the notion that there's some reward at the end of it. I know you know that, though. I know you're just kind of venting. It's worth explaining, I guess, breaking down somewhat. Hello, everyone. I know there's a small group here, and I'm very glad you're here. And there will be a poetry reading now that there, I suppose, is enough of you to bear witness to this kind of poem that I've wrote or whatever. But please make yourselves known in the chat. It does me a great service because it allows me to understand who's here, and you're all very, very welcome here. Yeah. I'm actually thinking about making some changes to the channel. I suppose the phrasing wouldn't be taking it more seriously, but I don't know. You know, I've hid behind certain things. This poem really does go into a lot of it, but yeah, I feel like I've hid behind certain things on my channel a lot. Okay, but I'm the one that gets warning. Yo, RB, hello RBs. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you, sir. But I'm the one that gets a warning for calling one of them an incompetent wanker. But because of them, it took almost 2 days longer. Nice. Yeah. Did you actually call him an incompetent wanker? Because that's pretty funny, man. Hello, Joe. Poem, you say? Yeah, poem, very much. Yeah, but it's not. It's very. It does. Everything doesn't rhyme. But sorry for your ranting. Sorry for ranting. Oh yeah, no, dude, no. That's Yeah, it's a pleasure. You're very respectful in the way you deliver. I did. Yes. Yeah, you did. Yeah, nice. You incompetent wanker. Oh shit, dude. Yeah, I mean that's pretty scathing. I mean, but I mean it does sound like he was an incompetent wanker, to be fair. So, but yes, Joe, nice to see you as well. Yes, there will be a poetry reading. It's very nice of you all to come on such a precious time, because Friday night is, I mean, it's a good night to be out, you know, if you've got places to be and things to do. So it's nice that I'm honoured that you're spending your Friday night here, because I know the significance of a Friday night. And frankly, if circumstances were different, I'd probably be out. That said, though, would I? Because I have this stream that I have to do every day, so maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, thank you for the story, Alf. It was a pleasure. It was an honor. Really, yes, it's an honor to hear someone share their life, even if it is through the lens of airing a frustration, you know. And yes, he does sound like an incompetent wanker. You are justified in your conclusions. Again, I apologize for the delay because of my slow internet speeds. At some point, I'll probably boost them up, and when they do, everything will run much smoother. But yeah, I'm doing the best I can with what I have. The girls don't go out on Friday nights nowadays. Real hot girls go out Saturday. Well, fair enough. There are situations where people are basically collectively choose the least productive problem-solving method just so they don't get stuck starting on a new problem. Hang on. Oh, right, yeah, so just prolonging the inevitable, yeah. That's pretty funny. I mean, that's really sad. Like, work environments are where some of the worst. Literally, like, and I understand, look, it's weird. I have sympathy for both parties. Like I have sympathy for the people that phone it in because they want the paycheck. And so they're just like, let's just do a shit job because fuck this. But then I also understand the people that are just like competent and just want something done well. Unfortunately, I'm the diplomat that can see both sides, and that makes me kind of useless, really. But that's, though, arguably, in a certain sense, that's the thing, though. It's like, which do you pick? Do you pick the competent ones or the ones that are taking a break and trying to just enjoy their life a bit more, really, by working slower because they're just going, fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. I'm not going to solve the problem. I'm not getting paid. You are, actually. So you should probably solve the problem. But yeah, it's like the least product. Yeah, I don't know. Hang on, I was going to go on some tangent, but okay, so there's 4 people, and there's like some mystery 5 person who's like just watching silently. A creeper in the night. That's what you are. All right. No, you're welcome here. Even creepers are allowed. You know, pretend to work for pretend money. Yeah. Welcome in our pretend society. Living our pretend lives. Okay, maybe not. Sorry to derail, but isn't it crazy that Gonzo from the Muppets just randomly sexually and romantically attracted? Just randomly is sexually and chickens, the bird. I've always had a soft spot for Gonzo, I think. Or maybe I just remember his name. No, I think I actually kind of liked Gonzo. And as well, in England, like the Muppets. Okay, Joe, because you're from the States, yeah, you're lucky. The Muppets were bigger in the States, I think, because there were Muppets I didn't even know existed, that I only found out existed. Like, I didn't know who Sweetums was And I only found out who Sweetums the Muppet was through some guy saying his like comedy act is basically like a combination of Paul Giamatti and Sideways combined with Sweetums the Muppets. Like that's his persona. And then I looked up Sweetums the Muppets and I was like, what the fuck? Like there's these other crazy Muppets that I didn't know about. And yeah, because you guys in the States are lucky. I used to like the Muppets a lot as a kid. Thank you for that, Joe. Like you're just coming in like just sprucing everything up. This is a heavy stream. This is meant to be a heavy stream where I'm rethinking everything. And you're just coming in here. You know what it is, Joe? You've come in here and just sort of gone like this. And just like flowers have like sprung forth from your fucking, like you've literally, you are the token gay who has come in and just like thrown flowers everywhere and made everything just like better slightly. Well, not even slightly actually. You've kind of cheered me up, to be honest. They were hugely literary cultural. Really. That said, there are a lot of random ones who were big in the 70s, but kind of washed. Nothing worse than being a washed up Muppet. Yeah, no, I loved the Muppets as a kid. I think it's like there are so many signs that I was like an Americanophile. File forever sounds creepy for obvious reasons, but anyway. Yeah, there were many signs that I was Americanophile ever since I was a kid. But liking the Muppets, I didn't know was one of them until later. But yeah, you guys are so lucky, man. I loved them so much as a kid, but in England they weren't as big. Though they were around a bit, but it was never quite as good as the US. And then after a certain age, I stopped giving a fuck. Though they are still really funny, but yeah, I kind of like. I don't think the word is outgrown them because they're still funny for adults. They're just kind of like. Yeah, Joey, thank you for bringing the Muppets up, man. You've really like lightened this whole thing up. Okay, I need to stop looking at the stats because the fucking stats on my bit. I keep repeating myself. I need to shut up about this shit. But the stats on my fucking page keep like confusing me. Either that or someone genuinely is just coming in and they're just leaving. Like, what are you doing? Like, what is that fucking person doing? Like, literally coming in and then fucking like just I don't know. Did HR Puffin stuff ever make it to you guys? And no, he didn't, but I'm going to look him up right now. I'm going to look him up right now. Oh my god. What the fuck is that? Holy shit. That is insane, dude. No. I would remember if this fucking thing made it to England. Holy shit. This is bedlam, dude. Oh god, you Americans. I knew you guys had a better life. Holy shit. Oh my god, look at this. The child me would be like, holy shit. Though this does look a bit dated, I will say. But so maybe I wouldn't have seen it as a kid, but yeah. He's so bizarre. Yeah, exactly, right? It's freaky as shit, but goddamn, we had Mr. Blobby, which was freaky in a more disturbing way. I think anyone from the UK will agree. Though some people love him. I mean, I personally like him. My brother was terrified of him. What do you think he's meant to be based on looks? I doubt you get. No, I'm not going to get this. I think like a dinosaur, a caterpillar, a sloth. Sloth? Not a panda. They're just not that color. But a sloth, I think. I think it's meant to be a sloth. Though the color's off. No, but that kind of is sloth color. Turtle, a crocodile. That's like it's got the body of a crocodile, the silver boots of a girl that's about to go out on a Saturday night or Friday, and a head that I don't even know what that is. I don't know. I think it's a freak. Drug-induced bollocks. Yeah, right. He's a dragon. Well, there you go. Yeah, it's a mythical creature. I mean, I did mention some of. Yeah, I mean that face is not really giving dragon. It's giving like sloth. Though the body is kind of dragon, and the shoes. So it has moon boots, which are like definitely very feminine, kind of, slay whatever, and then it has the body of a dragon, and then it has the fucking head of like a sloth, because those eyes, like the baggy eyes, are very sloth-like. So yeah, I'd never have guessed a dragon because that head is not a dragon head. That is the weirdest dragon I've ever seen. It looks like an ice cream. The main antagonist is oh boy. With oh god, Wilhelmina. Oh man, See, this is where like America sounds like it has parallels with Japan, because these names are like inventive to an extent that Japan is inventive, and like Japan lets their imagination. I think I think a lot of, I think it's not unfair to say that Japan is one of the cultures, countries that lets their imagination really run wild. Through anime and stuff, like the ridiculousness. Like I don't know if any of you've seen One Piece, but this is where, like, looking at this, I start thinking, oh, this is where America starts seeming a lot like Japan, because I mean, though it is for kids, but no, there's just this level of like whimsicality is very like Japanese. She looks like a sex pest, I won't lie. You want to hate her, but you also want to, like, as an adult, you can kind of see the woman underneath, and you're just kind of like, oh yeah, she's a hoot probably, as a person. She's probably really funny. Both an icon and a sex pest. Well, women are allowed to be that. Men, not so much these days. I suppose there's more implications when men are sex pests. I suppose when a man is a sex pest, there's a lot more danger involved, at least on paper. We kind of just had an era where there were a bunch of children's shows made by super enthusiastic artists with zero budget. That's fucking sick. That is the shit. That's the dream combo. Because then they have to get really inventive, and that shit is like pure comedy. Like, see, no, he needs to have like 7 heads, and it's like, well, we don't have time or the budget for that. So then it's just this weird thing, and it's like, how did it, and then some later people were like, how did it look like that? And it's like, well, we were very inventive and we had a lot of vision, but we didn't have money, so that's how things ended up looking like that. They wanted children's program, but didn't spend any money. Kind of trying to eat Mr. Rogers' nachos. Right. I don't know what you mean. Oh, I see. Fucking. I'm getting a fucking download. Oh my god, Joe! Screw you, man. You make this fucking stream started out so somber, and like, you've just cheered me right up, man. Like, you probably haven't even meant to, but like, fucking hell, man. I don't even want to read this poem now because I'm like fucking. Like, it's like so somber compared to the to where we've gone now. But yeah, I don't know about Mr. Rogers. But then in the 80s, there started to be money in selling toys that were based on kids' cartoons. Right. I'm still seething. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm still seething. They were backing up software from drives with bad sectors to... Hang on. No, I want to understand this. I want to actually comprehend what you're saying. They were backing up software from drives with bad sectors to new drives and not checking for corrupt files. Yeah, I understand what you just said, and that's like... Holy no. I need this. Alright, cool. It might not have much to do with what's going on. What does it do with your poem? We're going to do it now. I have enough of an audience, so I'm going to turn off chat for this because I need to just deliver. I want to just I just want to send this. So should I turn the chat off the screen? I'm not going to turn chat off on the screen, but I've stopped myself from being able to see chat in my own little thing. So this is fucking personal, man. And it might not look. It's not going to be. It's not like. If I wanted to write beautiful poetry that was like inspiring and like, I need to say this. I know people are going to shut up and just go on with the poem. It's like, no, I do need to say this. This isn't meant to be beautiful in a poetic way. This is more about the message than the poem. But anyway, my mum just sees me as this little boy, and my dad wants me to be a musician so badly. But I know I can actually be and offer so much more to this world. It's just nobody in my immediate reality reflects that to me. And that really hurts because I feel like I'm the only one who can see my potential, who can see me. No one else around me can. And all the ones who could have seen it have alienated, or they have found some way out of my life. I'm alone with my awareness of what I could be. I've outgrown my circumstances, but I stay because I fear outgrowing the templates and precedents set by my parents, my family, old friends even. I could be so much more than this. Like I know I could be so much more than this. But here I am, acting the fool, playing small, playing up to the tiny role I've been given, when I know I am not a fool. I know I could be so much more than this. I know, I've seen it, I've lived it before. And yet here I am, cosplaying as some internet loser who can't catch a break, when I actually know I could be so much more. What am I doing? Why am I wasting my life like this? I'm not a streamer. Why are you making yourself so small? You know, there's no voice in my physical world able to say this to me. The message hasn't been able to be delivered to me externally, and so through some process I can't fully comprehend, the answers have come to me from within. I have no one in my life capable of talking sense into me without colouring it with their idea of what sense looks like for me through their eyes. For this reason, I have not been able to see myself clearly, and it's been ruining my fucking life. I've been wasting my potential because I've been so desperately trying to succeed through frameworks given to me by people who can't even see the real me. So of what use is their advice? When they can't even really see who they are giving their advice to, what use is their advice? Because no one around me knows me well enough to remind me that I've actually been going off course. No one was able to remind me that I was going in the wrong direction. So I had to remind myself. I wish someone knew me well enough to pick me up when I fall down, so I don't have to be perpetually covered in dirt and dust from all the times I fall flat on my fucking face, trying to find my feet, making so many stupid mistakes. And I can say it's so you don't have to, you know, but that's at my own life's expense. That is probably a bit melodramatic, but it does feel like that. Everyone is so busy trying to validate, justify, and rationalize their own existence, which they seem to endlessly trumpet around with a pride and gusto I used to find annoying, but now just find wounding, that they don't even have the time or the ability to substantiate mine. Of which I know is no small ask, but considering how precarious and uncertain and frankly fragile my sense of self is compared to theirs, I don't know. I don't think it's too much to ask when I'm in such a state. But to them, I'm not in a state. Through most of their eyes, I'm doing fine, just great. I'm the only one who knows how badly I'm actually doing. But I'm also the one who feels too weak in my own convictions to feel like I have the strength to do anything about it. That said, I've never been able to see clearly until now as to how badly I've been fucking myself up. So I'll probably do something about it at this point. So obviously the question becomes, what do I do instead of what I've been doing? And the answer, I don't know. I just know on some level this isn't right. There you go. It's pretty heavy. One sec, sorry. I'll be right back, guys. But yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hello, hello. Yeah, I mean, I did say Alf knows how, like, self-destructive that kind of poem was, if you know what I mean. Like, it's like I'm basically doubting the premise of what I'm doing right now. But, yeah, anyway. Lost in the mundane kind of vibe, I guess, yeah. I mean, what can I say? It wasn't. I warned you it wasn't, like, beautiful poetry. It was, like, very practical, but, yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know. But yeah, it's very, like, destructive to what I'm doing, because I'm basically saying, like, what the fuck, I'm not a streamer, like, and all this shit. Because I don't know, like, what is this? You know? I think, Alf, you were probably hoping for something much more, like, venti and, like, frustrated, but, like, yeah, it's more just being upset because I feel like, as I say, like, in the poem, man, it's literally, like, there's just no one around to, like, remind me that I'm going in the right direction. How do you feel now you've read it? Like, first thoughts? It's alright. I mean, it's barely a poem, really. It's just some writing that I felt like sharing, but good on some level. It wasn't. I can write much better stuff, you know, because when you say poem, people are expecting, like, grading and all this kind of stuff, and, like, you know, you're not gonna get slam poetry from me, baby. I'm not that kind of guy. I could write something like that, but yeah, this isn't about strong feelings. As a matter of fact, this is like anti-feeling. It's like, because the whole premise of what I was saying is that, like, it's like I'm trying to impart advice, or I don't know. I suppose I feel like I'm in a weird situation that's very specific, so it's understandable that people might not get it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not like the truth is that someone would only resonate with that probably if they've been through it, you know. So I don't feel bad, because, like, yeah, it's kind of like, it's quite specific. I suppose you guys wanted something more venti and, like, ah ah. I mean, honestly, I was angry before I wrote that, but writing it, I was crying because I was realizing how, I mean, I meant every word I said, to be honest. Like, it's so bad, man. Like, living in a situation where you feel like you can't see yourself clearly, and, like, no one around you is reflecting, like I know what I'm capable of. Like, in other words, I'll actually be even more vulnerable and frame it like this. Like, the number of times I've like started fights with my mum because I know I'm not living up to my potential, and yeah, there's some history there of, like, her not seeing my potential and not really caring about what I do with my life and stuff, and me being angry about that and being like, what, really, like, really, and I didn't know this until today in a certain way, but, like, really, I'm angry at her, for my parents arguably, but more my mum, because she just doesn't really want anything for me, which is a double-edged sword, because it's like, on one level, she never pressured me to be anything, but that's also, she never, you know, she didn't expect anything of me. You know, ideally you'd want someone, you know, ideally we want people who want what we want from our lives, you know, or see us in our best light, or see, but that's not even it though. It's more like, see what, like we all have callings in our lives. We all have things that we're compelled towards or drawn toward. And ideally we'd want the people around us to validate that and see that. But when they don't, you know, so many arguments I've had with my mum, and it's so nice on some level to just not have had that argument, to have gone upstairs and just actually just felt all the feelings instead of yell about it, and just actually realize I'm upset that I'm not living up to my own potential. Yeah, but it's also not that simple, because it's not just that I'm not living up to my own potential. It's that it's that no one is validating what I know to be true in my head, and perhaps no one can. You know, I mean, maybe no one can, but it's still hard. You know. Anyway. I get it, to be quite honest. I felt similar earlier in the year, but I was, like, fully having a mental breakdown at the time. I mean, when I wrote that, I was crying my head off, which is, not gonna lie, slightly concerning to me, but I also don't want to seem that I, like, get it. Look, I have breakdowns all the time. I'm not even bothered about it anymore, dude. I don't even know what, like, That's an entirely sensible reaction. It's literally different to have someone expect nothing from you. It makes you beyond frustrated because it's like a different. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but dude, there are so many bitter pills that I've had to swallow that I don't even want to make a drama about it because it's ungraceful, you know. And I'm at a point where at this point, I'm just trying to save what little bit of dignity I have, and in a sense, respect my family purely as a way of respecting myself, because it makes me look bad to waste my time and energy going, oh, they did all this shit to me, and also I don't want to be a victim. But yeah, like ultimately, like, you know, the amount of, like, you know, it's because of stuff that happened with my mom and her father, whatever. I just know that, you know, there's a great deal of respect and courtesy that I didn't receive from her, that she made up for in meals and stuff. But it's like, yeah, it's a dismissal of me as a person. Exactly. So, you know, yeah. And I just, yeah, it's just really, it's really hard. Like, but then also, you know, I was saying, like, it's like I might be the only person that could see myself in that way, you know. I should make a poem about Carol. Maybe you should, man. Like, maybe you should, dude. if it would make you feel better. Do you feel like you have anyone in your life? Feel like anyone? Yeah, no. Well, the problem is, even the ones that do have expectations of me, they have expectations of me that don't actually align with who I am. Like like, it's one of the reasons why I've been so obsessed with music is, yeah, I love music and I love art and I love expression and stuff, but it's like my dad, like, for example, my dad has expectations of me, but they're just his like, he wants me to be a rock star. He wants me to be a musician, you know. I think. Oh, Alf, you can, you cannot get you. I'm gonna. You remember Carol, Joe? You remember Carol? Carol, you think the optical drive is a cup holder? They say with age comes wisdom. If that were true, you'd look younger. She reminds me of my mum. My mum's a lot like that. Define to me what a chair is, but don't use the words like leg and seats. I don't mean to offend, but it sounds like you're dismissing advice given because it doesn't quite meet your standards. How do you mean? I do recall that after that evocative couplet. Arby's, so you're saying, look, like, Arby's, the thing I want to say is that you could say, like, don't get me wrong, man, I'm grateful that someone, like for example, my father cares enough to have a direction for me, but it's that no one in my life really knows me well enough to actually see what I want and to, I suppose, encourage me to go for what I want or perceive myself as able to achieve for myself, or need to achieve for myself, really, to live a life of satisfaction, because I live a very unsatisfying, like, I live a pretty, I live a life that could definitely do with a lot more satisfaction. I'll put it that way. You know, I think I know what Abby's saying. I think it's just a misunderstanding, in the sense that, like, the thing that troubles or pains me is that I don't know how I got to a place where my own voice is so quiet that, like, it's not even my own voice is so quiet. It's like, okay, I think I need to preface this with something. Like, growing up, I had to perform to be loved. Like, growing up, I never felt loved for me other than through my brother. My brother actually loved me unconditionally in a lot of ways. Like, he saw me for who I was and was like, he met me at my level when I was a kid, and for that I owe him my life in so many respects. But my parents never did, and so much of their love was conditional. It was based on acting. It was based on being who they wanted me to be, wearing this kind of mask and receiving goods in return, whatever they be, maybe like shelter and food and stuff like that. I was loved for what I could be for them. And so because of that way of being raised, as an adult, I find myself struggling to follow through on what it is that I want to do, because so much of what I want to do, like it's in other words, if you're a kid, if you're a child actor for your parents, when you grow up, it can be very hard to prioritize what it is that you want, you know? And it becomes very hard to, it's almost like you don't have a face because you're so busy like being whatever face, wearing whatever mask they want. Wow, that is like a painfully accurate metaphor. It's so painful I could cry. Well, it's like, yeah, it's like you don't have a face because you're so busy wearing masks to be seen by your parents that when you finally take it off, you just go, I don't have a face, or like I barely have one. I think I can see my nose. It's like I think I can feel my nose. It's like, would it be okay if I said something a little frank here? Yeah, sure, go for it. I might be wrong, but it's what I heard. You get half of what you need to hear in your own head, but if you really want advice from someone else, then you need to take it out of their experience without expecting perfection. No, of course. But it's more, I guess, it's more really like I'm upset about the fact that there's just no one in my life that really knows me well enough. And I think maybe mourning the fact that there was a time when I was in a relationship with someone who did know me. You know, but anyway, yeah, go on. Say what you feel, people. Joe, feel free to say if you want to be frank. I don't mind. I don't mind. Like, because I know there may be some element of something that rubs people the wrong way about what I said, but I don't mind. We will see this through. we will see this through. I can explain my point well. I can explain my position well. But there's a thing, man. The thing that like has always been annoying is that if I had the time to explain my position, people would understand me. But by default, people assume a lot of things about my position. to phrase it like colloquially almost, but that's it. It's like, yeah, my position. But it's like, yeah, people make assumptions about where I'm at. I think based on what I've heard, you spend so much time thinking about your problems that it actually stops you from doing anything. That's why, yeah, no, that's not it. Yeah, that's not it. I don't really think about my problems that much. I doubt myself because, like, I have a very unstable sense of self. There's a level to which it's negative, and yeah, I mean, but this, yeah, right. I mean, no, that's crazy. There are people in my life that know me too well, and they always see the cracks, and I really don't want that. Right. Well, there you go. It's tough. I mean, it sounds like it's a raw deal either way, but yeah, there's no one that knows me well. I feel like a mystery even to myself, and it hurts sometimes. But you don't have to think your way out of it. You have to pick a path and go down it, because until you do that, yeah, no, yeah, it's not. Yeah, yeah, I know. It's not about that though. It's not about that. Like, I know that picking a path and doing something, like, Joe, I think you're kind of self or even self-taught. No, I mean, you do, like, hang on. Because until you do it, it's not that you don't know yourself, it's that you don't have a sense of self. No, you do have a sense of self, even if you don't pick any path. I would know. But at the same time, like, yeah, no, it's not that simple. Like, the self doesn't come from within; it's a result of yikes. See, now this is where Joe, this is where you and I disagree on an ontological level about what it means to even have an identity or be a person. And this is fun to bring to your attention. Who you are does come from within. There is a self that is innate, and it does exist. And you're at a stage where you do things to gain a sense of self. But the scariest thing is to do nothing and come to understand that you have a sense of self even when you do nothing, because you do. And so this notion that you can do that you define yourself through what you do, although yes, there is some truth to it, and some people, like, a lot of people need that, and I need it. People do, like, it's not invalid. I understand that. but you do have a self, even when you're not, playing a role. Like, there is a self that exists without doing, because you're basically saying the self comes as a result of what you do. Nope, there's a self, even if you don't do anything. If you were a senseless arm and flesh living, do you think you'd end up being the same person you are today? No, I'm not saying, I'm not, like, understand, I'm not you're assuming that I'm discrediting the significance of doing things as if I haven't done anything, like I've done things. But, people can't ever fully understand one another. We just make faster similes and gasp. But are you looking for someone you can see perfectly, or are you just I think I'm really mourning the loss of being seen very, very clearly. And this is fun to talk about. This is good to talk about. It's good sharing this, because in a lot of ways, saying what I said, highlights how lucky I've been in a sense, because really the poetry you just heard is the poetry from someone who has been unseen for a lot of their life and yet did have an experience where they were seen, and now has to deal with the contrast between an experience where they were with someone or in a relationship where I was very seen. We did see each other quite clearly. RBs, I agree. Like this, but this is the thing, you don't ever need to fully see someone 100%. You like, the point is to see someone enough, and we did, and you do in life, and you can get very close to 100%, and arguably the best relationships are the ones where the percentage is higher, you could say. Or maybe not, there's so much to learn from not being seen as well. But the point I'm trying to make is, I guess really, yeah, I'm somewhat reeling from, like, I'm lucky, so I can't, that's why I guess my poem was very less emotional in a certain sense, because I have the privilege of having been through a relationship or have had experiences where I have been seen, and the problem is when you have been seen very fully, and then that goes away, which is what happened to me when the relationship ended. Of course, there's a lot of fallout from that experience, because, well, being seen by someone and seeing someone else in such full resolution, it's a what's the word for it? It's a there's a very fancy. It's a showcase. It's a showcase. It's like an art show. Really, seeing someone else and someone seeing you, it's like an art show. It's like you're going to an art show and the subject is them or you. Like, that's what real love is. It's like you're going to an art gallery and you walk in and you go like, holy fuck, man, this is me. But really, in a sense, because when you're in love, it's like both you. It's like you're seeing an art gallery of self, of, like, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. It's a showcase. But yeah, and I think yeah, when you have that experience, it's extremely good. It's extremely good. This is what everyone wants in a relationship. It's what everyone wants, is to have that experience of being fully seen, because then, well, I mean, it's like, in a lot of ways, it's like life after death in a certain way, because it's just, when you feel that scene, or when you see someone else that fully, and you see them, it's like having a kid almost, or something like that. It's like, it's really raw and like personal and powerful. But yeah, RBs, I don't know if I think that was my answer to your question somewhat, albeit like kind of a diversion, but like, yeah, that's kind of what it is. I think, like, yeah, showcase. Showcase would be the word. It is like a showcase. It's like going to a fucking art gallery of yourself and them. You're just like, what the fuck is this? It's like, yes, you look like this, and she means that, and she's beautiful in that way, but that also means you're beautiful in that way, in a certain way, and whoa, like, love is a mirror for both of you. Depends on how you take it, though. Some people want deep relationships, some people don't. I don't know, it depends. I just had one, So let me know if I presume too much here. Go on. Go ahead. Assume away, Joe. Say what you want to say. People, say what you want to say. I know. It's weird because, like, I may feel upset about certain things, but I'm upset from a position of this tainted word, privilege. But yeah, in a certain way. Privilege in the sense of the things I've had the luxury of experiencing, but also the experiences I've had are rare because they're rare, not because they're financially ordained to be rare. People from poor countries or people from anywhere can have these experiences. It's just love, you know. But the only way to be seen is to show yourself. Sometimes if you want someone to really see you, you have to translate yourself a bit, and that's hard to do when you're feeling out of step. I suppose. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? Like, what do you like? My concern. What do you mean? What do you mean? But the only way to be seen is to show yourself, of course. Sometimes if you want someone to really see you, I mean, when you're in a relationship, I think you can't, if you're really playing like balls to the wall and you're in the relationship and you're in love and you're just taking everything to the max, there's no way to, you will there's no avoiding it. Like if your goal is to, like if you love someone so much, being seen is like, not an afterthought, but it's like that's just one of the steps towards like the goal of like fully connecting as fully as you want to, because I think when you're in love or whatever, you want to just get as close to someone as humanly possible, and being seen is the third step towards like, I don't know, not to undermine the significance of being seen at all, but I mean, it's funny, like I'd argue my problem is that I've been more seen. I felt very unseen growing up, and then also I've had experiences where I've been more seen than arguably a lot of people on this planet. But I think it's hard to reconcile that. You know, if you feel like you've gone through life without something for a really long time, and there's all this emptiness, and then suddenly you get it. But then when you get it more than a lot of people ever seem to get it. So then it's like, whoa, it's like a total overcompensation, and it kind of blows your mind. So like, I don't know you personally, but to be honest, I feel like we're kind of always quite, sometimes it feels like you want to be seen, but also terrified of being seen. Yeah, because, well, also I don't even believe it's really possible. Because like, even when you are seen, like take this from someone who has actually been seen very thoroughly, like you aren't really seen. You know, like even when someone sees you so much, you know, I agree with RBs in a sense, RBS, when he says, like, based on what I see of you, you express some aspects of yourself and kind of immediately try to undercut it or take it back. Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah. But that's because I don't really, yeah. I mean, you tell me. Lead the way, man. You're right. That is what I do. I don't know. I don't know what to. Tell me what you think. Why you think I'm doing that? Yeah, if you want, please, please, will you do that? Because I don't know. I do. I know I do it, but I can't really say why. I think this is more just like no, because I undercut it because I know how it feels to be seen in such a, honestly, it's a constant comparison. It's quite bad, really. Like I'm just it's because I'm just so aware of how it feels to be seen in this really intense way. When I share myself online and stuff, I'm always just thinking about how, like, yeah, I guess why I wasn't scared to admit certain things or share certain things. Like I'm being so vulnerable right now. This is more than a lot of people ever say online. I say. But at the same time, it's like, it seems like, and I don't know this is to be the case, but you're thinking that if you just say who you are, that we're not going to accept it. I suppose. But it's also, who I say I am is not who I am. You know? Like what I say doesn't mean anything. In a certain way. To a certain extent. Like what I do and what I like express physically, verbally, like not verbally, but what I like, I don't know. I don't really value words in a certain way. It's very sensible not just be vulnerable and open constantly. That's not crazy at all. It's very healthy and all. Yeah, right. But I think one of the things that compels me to be, or I suppose like play, like one of the themes of my channel is vulnerability and like playing with vulnerability. And the reason why is because I've had such a fucking fucked up relationship with it. Like, really, like more than a lot of people, I feel, because, you know, yeah, like I had an upbringing that was just very like intense. By the sounds of it, your relationship was something like a unity. Yeah, something like one. Enough of one. Like, and you found yourself cut off from the whole dual whole once. Yes, RBs, man. Yes, an incomplete mask of how you view yourself, so to speak. Yes, somewhat. Yeah, it's like no, because I grew up, and it's this fucked up thing where like I felt very loved, yet also on a conditional basis. And then when I met my ex, who I was with for 6 years, that was like this crazy thing where I felt like I got to resolve the issues that were unresolved with my mum when I was a kid, and so I managed to resolve those. But even so, there's still so much fallout from it, because it's like, yeah, I had this event in my 20s with this person who healed all this stuff, but not all of it. Like, there's still, like, you know, it doesn't undo the prior experience. Anyway, a lot has been said. I need to keep up with this. BRBs, you're right. You are right, man. You've kind of like, hang on, no, I want to read it. I want to say what you said again, because you actually, your last relationship was something like a unity, yeah, it was, and you found yourself cut off from the dual whole you once were. Yes, like I suppose she taught me how to unify within myself. Through her, I learned how to unify myself, because she helped me. She showed me how. I didn't know how to love myself. Like, my upbringing left me schizoid in certain respects, and my experience with her helped me like unify myself. Yeah. But then obviously when she left, I had to learn how to unify myself. But I think I have learned how to do that. But even so, there's still fallout from when I was a kid, even though I had this whole experience with her that like helped me. In other words, like, I'm very blessed and I'm very lucky. But if I didn't play my cards right, I could have ended up so much worse. But I'm also very like that, and that's a fact. Like, I gave myself 3 years to live when I was 19. Fortunately, I went and drank ayahuasca, and that like changed my life. But like, I could have gone down some really bad roads in my life, and that's just like fact. Because there are truths and feelings that I, you know, glimpse coming past me in my life now and then that makes me think, if I was less equipped, I would just ruin my life based on like I see it coming past and I'm like, oh shit, like I avoided that, and whatever. Anyway, that's how it feels. But there's a degree to which it is very cerebral to say we'll never truly know each other. But realistically, we know the people in our lives deeply and intimately without even trying to. Yeah, I suppose, yeah. But it's just, I don't know. I suppose it is cerebral, but I don't know. Like, you're playing the game. We're playing the game of wanting to play the game of understanding each other as truly and deeply as possible. And so, anyway, there's a lot that's being said. So I hope I'm not overstepping. RBs, you're not overstepping. I appreciate the input. No, I'm sharing. I'm oversharing. You know, I'm not. I don't think I am. I'm happy with this. I don't care about sharing this. Like, there are things about me that I think are so deep inside me and unknowable, and the 10-year-olds I teach will look me on it effortlessly. Yeah, right. But that's because that's kids can see right through the adult facade. That's why they're so annoying. Because you learn this. A lot of people learn this when they have children. Like, you don't actually change that much from when you're a kid, and that only really gets addressed when you have kids, or you have a kind of crazy psycho relationship, which I had, where you're like coming in with an extreme amount of awareness of Freud and like psychology, which I did in my previous relationship. Like, in other words, I came into my previous relationship with my ex with with a lot of understanding of like metaphysics and sexuality and psychology and all these crazy things. So I was able to reconcile a lot of things that people only reconcile once they have children with my ex, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, that's true. There are certain experiences that I've gone through in life that have made me privy to information that a lot of people only know once they have kids, or have a serious, They're just things that I've been through that have allowed me to know previously information that not that I shouldn't know, but that often only comes once people have like had certain experiences. I'm not saying I know how it's like to have kids. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that I do I punch above my weight a bit when it comes to certain things, like psychologically speaking. So I'm not more chatty, but I'm quite drunk, and the conversation is as heavy as my drinking tonight. Yeah, it is. Go easy, Alf. I could get drunk with you, maybe. Have a couple swigs. Might be fun. Maybe. Maybe not, though. Probably just cry on stream, dude. It'll get even heavier. I'm sure you're familiar with Jung to some degree. He had this voice, the shadow, of course, the part of ourselves we hide because we shame about it. We can see its darkness, but it can be anything. And sometimes the things we put in the shadow are like benign and unimportant, but the shadow is still dark and terrifying, even though it's ultimately harmless to most of us. I mean, I've confronted my shadow. A lot of it. But a lot of it. A lot. A lot of it. A lot. Like a lot more than most people know you even can. I will say that. I've confronted my shadow a lot more. Some people, like, I don't mean to sound arrogant or whatever, but like when you introspect as much as I have, like you go to places that a lot of people don't even know exist within yourself. You know, it's why I'm able to tell you that you are not what you do, because, and a lot of people only realize this when they're old and grey. Yeah, because most people busy themselves with activities and doing so much that the only time they ever really stop and think about who they are beyond the things they've done and the roles they've played is when they can't play the roles anymore. They're too old, so their body won't allow them to substantiate the role, and so they have to confront something. They don't know what it is. Look, I'll say I've had a lot of opportunities and chances to acquaint myself with the notion that there is a self that lies beyond the roles that we play. Like I need to say that because it would be unfair to just say this and just be like, oh yeah, and you should know this too. It's like, no, like I've spent a lot of time studying psychology, like inadvertently started like learning about Jung firsthand in a sense, because I've actually lived, like I know Jung is right because I lived it before I even knew what Jung was doing to quantify everything he was doing. Like I don't know all the words and the terminology he invented to explain, but I read what he says and does, and I'm like, yeah, I did that. I figured that out myself, and so that's how I kind of know it's true. But anyway, and based on what I've seen, it feels like you have some very benign stuff in the shadow that you try to undercut or take back, but it's not really hidden from the outside. We see it, and it's fine. Tell me, let me know. Obviously, I don't know like the depths of so sure, but tell me what you see, please, because I'm really blind to myself, and I appreciate it very much. I will appreciate it very much. I know it's very selfish, perhaps, but I will appreciate what you just let me know. You know, I'm down. You can just tell me what you see because I don't see it. You know, there's a lot of stuff I don't see. I'm very blinded by a lot of things. I'll overshare, but then sure. Thank you, Alf. I grew up in a very poor place, and all my friends are either dead or in prison. Respect, man. That's really tough. I only know of one that isn't. He lived in Spain because a relative left him money. I look back and think that could have been me, and I'm actually really lucky. Yeah, that's a hard life, man. I have a feeling you're like a kind of Alf. I have a feeling you're very jovial because you've actually been through a lot of things. Respect, man. That's like really, really tough. I take like. Yeah, man. All my friends are either dead or in prison. Yeah, we're glad. Yeah, man. I'm glad you're here, man. That's so like hardcore, man. Well done. Like, nice. Yeah. No, but this is why I feel like I'm also an escapee. You know, maybe not to the same like dire extent as you, but like I also feel like I'm the one that got away. You know, like from all the like I avoided that shit and avoided that shit, and like fucking hell, you know. And yeah, there's something. I suppose there is a little bit of survivor's guilt, but it's also just like it's just crazy. There's so much, and there's so much to comprehend given the specifics of what I went through that made me feel that way. So I'm sure there's just so many dimensions. Man, go ahead, tell me what you want to say. Say some. Feel free to whatever you're comfortable with sharing. I'm here for it. You know, this is a safe space. Provided that you are aware that it's going to be online, so But yeah, don't say anything you regret, obviously, but you would regret. But yeah, while we're here, this is it's a safe space. Okay. I think a tiny example would be when you share your art, Chris. You often try to level set with us and qualify your work. There's an assumption of our reaction that you're accommodating for. Yeah, I know. I mean, it comes from having a classical pianist from a mother and a father with very high standards. It's funny because as I've gotten older, I've kind of realized how delusional they are. In terms, like delusional in the most. I mean that in a very respectful sense, because both my parents really do embody both of them, unfortunately, embody the whole greatness achieved through madness kind of aspect. Both of them, because my mum was really good at playing the piano, but there is an element of madness that comes in objectivity, the crazy places she had to go to learn to be the kind of pianist she was. Those make for a person who have very high standards that aren't particularly rational, but they're enforced in such a way that make me constantly think about them, because I'm fuck, how am I I always feel the need to qualify myself because I guess they just I guess I've just been it's just and I think the impulse there is to be relatable and to reach out, but it kind of puts a barrier between us for sure. Yeah, I know, man. I do. But I drive a. But also, I've never explicitly said this, but it's important to say. I feel now overtly to say is that I drive a wedge between me and the viewers, because I know myself, and I actually have a similar problem to my father in that I'm like an avoidant personality. I know that about myself, and I don't know how much I can change it. And I suppose that's what makes me different from other avoidants, because I'm willing to admit from the get-go, I am limited. I know that I'm limited, and I can do what I can to circumvent it and stuff, but I know that my capacity to be there for others is somewhat hindered, because my sense of self is not quite. It's not that it's not fully formed, but it's I suppose my sense of self isn't really fully formed in a certain way. I don't have the most stable sense of self. I have a lot of self-awareness, but I think my self-awareness comes from the fact that my sense of self isn't actually that stable. Anyway, I need to read this, otherwise it's gonna fly away. But I'm aware, Joe, about the barrier thing, and I try, in the past I'd fuck around and play with it a bit too much, play a bit too rough with it, but now I've got a barrier and it's respectful, but I know it's further than a lot of people's. I keep people at a distance. Now it's at a respectful, it's respectful. Before I used to just be a cunt and just be I'd be nice and then I'd be horrible, and that was just me. I was fucking wiling out. That's bad. But that now, I'm just, the boundary that's been set is it's respectful. It's what I can handle, Okay, anyway. Well, I can't admit to anything. Sure, you don't have to. But I did the same things they did to make ends meet. Not good or nice things, and I got out the same way. A family member left me some money. I mean, fuck it, whatever, man. You had to do what you had to do. But then again, yeah, I honestly, I wouldn't know. I guess I've had the privilege of never having to harm others to get away unscathed. I've had to harm myself a lot to get away from situations that were bad, but I've never had to hurt actually externalize it and start bring the hurt to others to survive. So I wouldn't know, but yeah, I wouldn't know about that, but yeah, I know it's not easy. I had friends that dealt with similar stuff to what you're saying, Alf. The question and the fear makes it so that you don't speak with a conviction about what you make, so you're never satisfied with it, and the way you present it can make your audience lose confidence. I know. Fucking hell, stop groaning. I know. The question and the fear makes it so that you don't speak with conviction about what you make. Fucking hell, the screen is so dark right now. It's really annoying. I know. I know. People want me to speak with more confidence and conviction. I know this. yourself, don't commit. Yeah, I'll say that for church. So that's where the doing comes in. You can have so much awareness, so much of a plan, but if you aren't doing, you aren't living. You're thinking about living, so you're stuck. Another barrier. Fucking hell, man. Yeah, I guess. Like, what did I eat that's causing that? Like, hang on. I ate chocolate. Yeah, I should be fine. I don't know. Sorry, that's totally gross. And the fact that people are moving while you're still thinking creates this barrier, this distance, which makes it harder for them to see you. Right, yeah. Like, people don't want to be, scrutinizing all those kind of things. Yeah, sure, man. But this is like such a complicated explanation for like, hang on. Hang on. You can have so much awareness, so much of a plan, but if you aren't doing, you aren't living. You're thinking about living, so you're stuck. Another barrier. And to be very clear, I'm not saying this is your fault. I'm saying this is getting close to the root. Yeah. Yours. I know you're getting close to the root because it's like somewhat embarrassing a little bit. Yeah. And you're right. And the worst thing is that I actually know this is kind of the problem to some extent. Like, the question of fear makes it. In other words, people want conviction, but because conviction implies. But what about? And I suppose really what I'm trying to say is that I feel very uncertain in this time of my life. So that's the point, you see. It's like really like, yeah, we're getting to the root, and I suppose really the root, but the root is, as far as I'm saying, is that like I'm uncertain, you know, I'm unsure, and that's the point. It's like in other words, like I do want to share, I do want to open up, but I'm also scared. And so that's why there's all this difficulty and all this kind of, you know, you can have so much awareness. Hang on. Okay, I need to take a piss. I'll be right back, but yeah, one sec. Hi, queer punks. Hey, man. Hey. Okay, hang on. Okay. Shit, I need to catch up with everything and move this guy out of the way. Did I close my door? Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna go back in time a little bit. Hang on. Shit. YouTube dislikes me. I'm fine with that face. Fish your tongue out. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. You're not showing up in the regular chat. I don't know what that is. But yeah, nice to see you, queer punks. This is very non-musical, but I don't think you'll mind. There's some meaningful shit being said. That have Discord, you have to pay a membership to be in. That really annoys me. I mean, hey, they need their money. Okay, hang on. So that's what they're doing. Okay, so in regards to when, Joe, you were talking about doing things, right? Like if you think so much, you're not doing, right? So I'll get to that, but also, and the fact that people are moving while you're still thinking creates this barrier, this distance, which makes it hard for them to see you. Yes, understood. And to be very clear, I'm not saying this is your fault. I'm saying this is getting closer to it. You're right. I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable right now, but I don't want this to be like you think you have it hard. No, I don't feel like that, bro. You're just telling it to me straight, so that's totally fine. Or sis, I don't know what you prefer. It still sends from the chat. Okay, you know there's some creators on YouTube. Okay, so in response to what you said before, Joe, I want to say that like 100%, like I agree with you. Yeah, I suppose really. This might sound like an excuse, but like I have previously taken it upon myself, and it's kind of wrapping up now. It's kind of resolved in a big way now, so that's why I feel like I'm able to even make a stream like this and share the way I do. But there was a period of time where I felt like there were so many observations about the world and things that I'd seen about the nature of reality. You know, that's why I made all those crazy documentaries about amorality and the secret trauma behind Western civilizations. There was all these weird like angles and truths about reality that I'd seen, unanswered questions about reality that like I needed to get to the bottom of, which I have. I've satisfied my curiosity, but also like I just feel, and I just have to say this is how it feels, but like being seen like in a way that you felt like you've always wanted, it really makes it so that it's like you're unspooling. It's like it's like when you get something, when you have an experience like that, there's just so much. Fallout is a negative way to put it, but there's just so much to like undo, and like not undo, like it's like you're unfurling. It's like a coil that's like uncoiling. So I understand, like I'm aware of all the things that you mentioned, Joe, about the way I conduct myself, I conduct this channel, how I'm kind of reserved, the barriers. Though, and like, it's funny, like I have all these kind of, I know about all these things. I know that that's potentially what might be the case. It's just, I feel like there's not much else I can do until I'm done, like, with it. I guess, hang on, so much is being said right now, and, shit. I'm like totally answering an old question. Last year, I got moved to a new school and away from my work friends and my students and placed in a position where I was teaching at two different schools while knowing I'd be moved soon. Very true. I don't care how good you are at Minecraft. I'm not paying to join a Discord server where you won't talk to me anyway. Okay. I got moved to 5 different schools and I'd start teaching a class halfway through the school year and got a rough start. I felt very wildly unsuccessful. And then I got diagnosed with a heart condition. My mom had a stroke. One of my former students ended up taking when I'd just been moved to it. That's really crazy. I was teaching my first with a heart monitor and it went horribly. I'd never had a class go that poorly. I got worse as the year on until I was eventually 5. Man, that's fucking horrible. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, dude, I feel you. I hope you're not bringing this up as to, like, you know, like no, man. And the whole time I knew that's where I was heading. And I assumed I was just horrible at it. Like I lost the ability to teach. I was teaching my mom. I was stressed. Yeah. That's fucking crazy. I'm sorry about that, Joe. And I felt awful when you got something like a failure. Yeah. It's crazy how we're doing so well in spite of terrible odds, and yet we end up just feeling like a failure. Like it's so crazy. That's such a crazy thing. That happens to us phenomenologically as human beings. Like we feel like we're doing bad even though we're doing so well in spite of whatever. I felt like I was going nowhere. I had no future ahead of me and that nobody cared about me. By the way, I do feel everything you're saying. I'm just letting you like say it first. But yeah, I'm like that's intense, man. Like I feel you. Basically, that's really, really. But go on. I feel like you're getting something going somewhere. I stopped doing anything. Like I stopped going out doing the things that brought me joy. My life just fell apart around me. I felt powerless to do anything. Yeah, yeah. Right. That's brutal. And then I got fired. Well, yeah, I bet it's a relief. That's like so. I started doing things in order to be when my health got better. Right, because you left that job, which was No, you were mentioning. Yeah, I remember you said there was a job where you just felt a situation you were telling me where you just felt like everything you did was fucking wrong, and then you got to another job, and then suddenly things got so much better. Right. But that's the thing, though. Life is so, and I realized that I wasn't just naturally miserable. I was having a reasonable reaction. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you were. Yeah, and you did the right thing. You played it perfectly. But then again, I think that's because our lives are so specific to us, and we're going through we have an exact ratio of like abilities, pros and cons. Like what we're suffering with, so yeah, there's no one size fits all. But like, yeah, that sounds. I'm glad you got yourself to a better place, man. I'm glad you got yourself to a nicer place. Considering, yeah, that's like, man, that's stress. I feel like you're making a point, though. That's the thing. I feel like there's a kind of like point to be made, or maybe I'm reading it wrong. I mean, it's interesting. I'm glad that you shared that, but I feel like this is leading up to something. At least that's the way you're writing about stuff. I'm kind of like anticipating what point you would like to make. So I hear how you feel, and it sounds familiar to me. I have to assume that you aren't crazy, that you're responding reasonably to your conditions. Yeah, I'll be at very different conditions, to be honest. I feel like because I'm in a different circumstance, like anything I say would somewhat undermine your circumstances because there's the classic, like, I don't know what that's like or whatever, but hang on. And that your conditions create coping mechanisms to get you stuck in a feedback loop. Yes. Kind of. Yes, yeah, kind of. Yeah. But also, I don't know, there's this kind of other element to it that's like really hard to articulate, but there's something like it's weird. It's like the reason why it's different, I feel, though there's truth to what you're saying, and there are conditions that create coping mechanisms that get me stuck in my feedback. Yeah, there are, but it doesn't undermine mine though. Right. I hope not. I don't mean to undermine yours by any means, by any stretch. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I feel like because a lot of my, like, really the situation I'm in now was created from a situation that was to get all like fancy with it, but amoral. Like it had good, like it was unprecedented for me in many ways. The relationship I had with my ex, and being in a relationship with someone that I loved so much, yet also did not want to be in a relationship with. That's like two opposite. That's fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like that, just even that in and of itself. Not to make it about me or anything, because I'm really honored to have you share what you shared. But it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I feel like, unlike your situation, which is a response to clearly events that would clearly be like interpreted in just a negative way, you know what I mean? Because like the stuff you're talking about is like mom having a stroke, job being shit, like student, having that experience. It's like that's just overtly a negative. Whereas like for me, I feel like one of the things that makes my situation a little bit more sticky, shall we say, is that there's an element of like being in a depression where like, oh yeah, I am fucking myself up and I'm doing myself wrong. But there's also so much like not good that I'm getting from it. Like I know this isn't, I don't want it to sound like I'm justifying living a life that isn't nice. I really don't want to act like I'm doing that, you know what I mean? Like that's so like blah, like fuck doing that, like fuck going like, oh yeah, like allow me to advocate for something that I think is that is like causing me harm, like fuck that. But I just feel like the reason why it's been so hard to clear up and everything has been so messy, and earlier talking about the way I communicate and the way I share my channel, which I'm actually thinking of changing. Like I'm thinking of keeping the handle C Strongman, but making my proper name and shit, because like I'm thinking of like kind of bringing myself more fully to the table, but with YouTube and stuff. But yeah, like I don't know, it's just complicated. Oh, this is so normal, Chris. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What's normal? What's normal? Right, yeah. But then also I would say, yeah, I suppose, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I suppose. I can't even argue that. Yeah. Hold on to the positives to be attached by the little glimmers of light in a dark situation. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can't even refute what you're saying. But then, yeah, I can't really refute what you're saying. Because that is kind of what it is. Knowing it was asked because I really cared about the kids even when they were awful and ruining, I wanted to hold on to it, yeah. Well, I mean, you hold on to things until you can't anymore, right? I suppose in a lot of ways that's how I'm feeling about my situation, is that like I don't know how long I'll be able to continue doing the things the way I'm doing them. Which doesn't mean I'm gonna fucking off myself or anything. It just means that I'm gonna change. I stayed. I want to read that again. I stayed at the job knowing it was asked because I really cared about the kids, even when they were awful and it was ruining my life. I wanted to hold on to it. That's why we tend to stay in toxic relationships and care about abusive partners. 100%. I lost an apprenticeship at a PC shop when a customer brought in a PC and opened it up and said there was this. It was shoddy work and whoever worked and last was incompetent and cut too many corners. Only to find out that it was my boss that last worked and he was standing with me when I said it was. When I said it was swiftly let go. When I said it, I opened it up and said this was shoddy work and whoever worked on the last was incompetent and cut to it. Ha! Only to find out that my boss was last work. He was standing with me when I said it. I was swiftly let go and felt utterly useless. I mean, isn't that just so like human to be right and then somehow end up feeling like you're in the wrong? Like that's just straight, like I don't know, that's so weak. Like, but it happens often. People in positions of power who can't take criticism. But yeah, that's pretty shit, really. Why did you feel bad? The guy was clearly like, slight tangent, but it's truly evil that we have a right to work in states in the US, and the right to work literally means your boss can fire you without cause with no notice. Oh, that's gross. Right to work states. Shit. Yeah, you guys have it harder in the States in a lot of ways. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, hats off to you guys, man. You're like, it's like I want to live there as a rich person. You know what I mean? That's what I didn't realize. It's like I'm an Americanophile, and yet for the longest time I was thinking, yeah, I want to move to America. And it's like I actually don't. I want to move to America rich. Then living in America will literally be the best thing in the world. But like, yeah. Like the working life or even middle class life of an American is not nice. Like 3 jobs, 5 jobs, whatever. Like people just working themselves to the bone. I know you guys have a problem. It took me way too long to like realize that, because I fucking love your country, man. I love the culture. I love all of it. But it's just, yeah, to go there is just to go there is like there's a reason why it's like the borders are so tough in America, and it's almost a good thing because it's like you don't want to be working class here, like like you don't. It's gonna be a pain. Too true. Like being rich would solve 100% of my problems. I fear. Yeah. Well, make it 90. Call it 90, and then yeah. And they don't give us a vacation. I've heard. I felt bad because I felt like I'd done something wrong, but I was sure I was right. But I know I was right by the time I thought it was my failure. Yeah. Yeah, so many times it's like that. Yeah, you done. Yeah, what you did wrong was offend your boss's ego. The end. Like, I'm sure you know that by now, but it's like you've just brushed up against a hole in the way the world works, in that you can have a boss who's like insecure and who manages everything and yet can't take criticism. It's like a hole in. I suppose that's an over melodramatic way of framing it, but yeah, it's a human reality though. Like people that are above you that are not above you, like they are not the better person necessarily. Positions of authority, unfortunately, in this world are often not based on truly being better. It's often just bureaucracy, as per usual. That's also what it's like working in corporate America. They would just boot you for hurting your boss' feelings. I mean, it's like that everywhere. That whole thing. Like when you live in a world that runs on commerce and works via bureaucracy in hierarchies, this is an inevitable outcome. Because often there's no love there. I mean, because it's just built around everyone trying to fucking survive. So everything is like, well, not everything, but a lot of things are like shoddily patched together. But it's sad, really. I'm going to say something that might annoy you guys, annoy some of you a bit, but I've had the privilege of working in some really good places. Then again, I've always been at kind of near the bottom-ish rung, so I wouldn't really know what it's like to be near the middle or top of management, which is probably where you see all the horrible like contradictions that make you hate life. At the bottom, you don't see any of that crap. So, but you know what? His shop went out of business anyway, so fuck that guy. He should have done a better job. yeah, that's probably why his shop went out of business. I knew a guy like that. Yeah, really smart guy. Used to own a chocolate shop. But it was like a chocolate shop for like billionaires. Like billionaires would actually go to his chocolate shop to buy gifts for their rich family. It was like this crazy fancy gift shop place in London. I've had the privilege of working in some very interesting places in my life. But yeah, you know, he acted like his shop would never shut down and all this stuff, and he was taking over from his parents. But then yeah, eventually it did shut down. I had good jobs, but thank God. But teaching is a hard ass job in general, even if school's good. Yeah, I've had one of my old best friends, probably wouldn't call me that anymore. I don't know. Yeah, he became a teacher. Yeah, he says similar things. I don't know. He's thinking about becoming a lawyer, actually. But yeah. I mean, the stock congratulations for doing the job. Such a job that's so important to the world. You know, I feel like I'm explaining the obvious a bit, but I mean, it's worth saying. It's true. It's one of the noble jobs, isn't it? Being a teacher. Alongside being a firefighter, being an EMT, being a doctor, kind of being a... It's funny because lawyer is like respected, and yet you're usually doing scummy things as a lawyer, which is quite funny. But yeah, no, because when my friend said he was going to be a lawyer, I couldn't help but actually be like, oh, that's fucking cool, man. But really, when you think about it, if you did, you'd be like, oh shit, actually, lawyers are often doing cunty stuff all the time, so it's like... But anyway, it's good pay, and you get to wear a suit every day. And he would look pretty good in a suit. No homo. All respect. It would be cool. It'd be cool for him. Miss that fucking guy. But anyway. Also wanted to be a lawyer at one point. I was going to do child advocacy, which basically means as a kid being told to make $0 as an adult. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's like... pure goodwill. Pure goodwill, so many good intentions. And yet, I don't know, is Queer Punks still here or just watching? Who's here? So I don't mean to put you on the spot, Queer Punks. It's just, I don't know. Anyone who's a musician, I'm like, oh my god, they're a musician. Because I just momentarily thought, like, I could play music. And then I'm like, wait a minute, we're knee deep in, like, fucking. But then also, like, I'm feeling a bit whatever. So I don't know if I want to play music. But anyway, sorry. I mean, you can still, I mean, if you wanted to, you could still do child advocacy. But yeah, it's weird how in law there aren't many good, like, jobs that are, like, positive. I'm still just multitasking listening. Sorry, I'm I'm putting the one musician on the spot for being a musician. It's so bad. Stop, dude. Like, stop, Chris. Because I work so hard at being a musician, and so if there's one person that understands the thing that I've been trying to do so long, it's like, like, fuck, just like look like a dumbass in front of the one person. Like, no, that's it. The one person you don't want to look stupid in front of, like, you just fucking like spill chowder all over yourself or spill beans all over yourself. Like, oh, it's just funny. The stereotype, fucking up. But yeah, no, there's no, I know, but that's the thing. There's nothing at stake. But I almost feel like, but like, no. Some dude commented on the video that I was playing guitar on, and it was like, nice job. And like this, like, dude, it's like I sabotage myself so much when it comes to music, like, so much, man. Like, it's like when he said nice job, like, I couldn't just be like, yeah, cool. Like, I ended up like hearting the comment and then like unhearting it and then liking it instead. And just like, it's just so fucked up. Like, this is just shit I have to work through. Like, I feel like, Joe, this is the kind of stuff you were talking about earlier when you were telling me like I do things and I take it back. I've had other people tell that to me, and it's just something I'm working through, man. I think when you feel so, like, when I feel vulnerable, like I do now, or like very in pain, it's really hard to say things with chest. Or like when you do say things with chest, you like regret it a bit because you're like, oh fuck, it's 1:30, I'm drunk and I'm getting work notifications. Like, I don't know things. Working 100. I told them that. I'm so sorry, Alf. I'm so sorry. I can't really offer much to the conversation in terms of capitalism, corporate jobs. Flex right there. Unintentional flex. Before I forget, I was going to say, I feel like you've been introspecting more productively as of late. It feels like every day you're becoming more understanding of yourself. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, man. Yeah. It's just accepting of myself. It's like, I don't know, Joe, how long you've... No, Joe, I feel like you've been here for a long time. Like, there was a period of time where I felt the need to shoot myself in the foot for so many reasons. But yeah, but now this is the upswing, genuine upswing of me like honoring myself and figuring out this is the good timeline or whatever. This is me like bringing honor to my family. Like, no, just sorting everything out, putting everything right, representing myself properly, learning how to represent myself properly after going through a phase of like feeling like, I think when you go through tragedy, you develop an appetite for destruction of anything, yourself, other people. It doesn't matter. You just want to burn things down. You just want to destroy things. Like, and so having worked through a lot of that, I feel like I'm now in a phase where. But it's also good because I think when you're in that appetite for the destruction leads you to burn down things that need to be burnt. I think there are a lot of outdated beliefs that I was really, like, I think a lot of the freak out and the crazy shit I was doing before on my channel, a lot of that was like just me putting all the dumb shit that I'd been told growing up about how I should conduct myself to the test and just be like, okay, I'm just going to be the most extreme version of everything I've been told. Like, every dumb bit of advice that I've been told, I'm just going to put to the test. And like, not every bit of dumb advice, but like a lot of it, and I just feel like it's like an exorcism, But yeah, that's kind of done. So now it's a time of building and sincerity that, like I've started being sincere in a way that I would only let myself B, if I was backed into a corner. Because before I would like, I don't know if you remember, Joe, but I'd be nice to people and then I'd like take it back. I'd like constantly like go back and forth between with 30, flirty and thriving this year, LR13 going on 30. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Yeah, it's the growth. Yeah, it's in the growth era, but yeah, fuck it. Yeah, it is the growth era. Yeah, it's. I'd frame it more like seeds. It's like the seeds that have been planted. Because I think that's part of it, isn't it? Like there's forest fires, and they help sow the seeds that are gonna like become. So this is like where the seed starts, growing basically. Because I already planted the seeds. Now it's like watching them grow, like watering them, allowing everything. Yeah, so fuck it, I guess I'm in my growth era, but I added some imagery to it, but yeah. But I don't feel like I'm in my happy era yet. I'm not quite there yet. I will be, and when I'm happy, it will be great. I can be very. But I think you guys have seen glimpses of that. Who cares? So vain. Anyway, point is, yeah, like it's It is the growth era. But then I remember when I was in the destruction era, I was like so schizoid because I was like trying to make it the growth era when it wasn't still. It was still just like, nah, bro, you're still burning things down. You're still fucking things up. You're still destructive. Such an evocative. Oh, thank you. Evocative picture of the cycle where something similar happens around volcanoes. Right. I didn't know that. But yeah, I will say like, I don't know. I feel like it's worth mentioning. Like, I think it's sad really because I wanted to be sincere and I wanted to present myself in the light that I'm going to, in this very sincere, like, respectable, serious, like not serious, but like just like respectable way that is like honorable and respectful to myself and to others, and in being respectful to myself is respectful to others. But like, I just felt like I couldn't before. I just felt like I had to. You did it again. Who cares? You're so vain. We care. We're on your life. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I guess that's classic white guilt. Like classic Christian self-flagellation. Like, which I'm working through. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh wait, Alf, are you agreeing with Joe? Oh. So I wasn't being vain. I don't know. I don't even like. I feel like I'm being vain all the time. I was even waiting for you to go live tonight. So then I'm not being vain. So then what am I even doing, dude? So I'm just shutting myself down for like talking about myself, even though that's the whole point. I think. I mean, it's not the whole point. Like I'm fucking like I love talking to you guys. Otherwise, I wouldn't. This would be so shitty if it was just me talking the whole time. That'd be so depressing. Like. Though I have done streams like that. We care when you're like, oh God, I'm sorry I put you into the position where you feel the need to have to say that, dude. Like, we care, like, oh, okay. That being the case, then I suppose it's not vain, and I suppose you guys care. So, yeah, I just need to assume people care. Okay. But that's the thing though, like I'm making it out like I'm having trouble, like I have low self-esteem or something, when really I think something that's worth mentioning is when you work through emotions, like so many emotions like I have been, it is hard, like because of your state, because of like biochemical, physical reasons, like me crying earlier today and stuff. Like that's the reason why I'll have lower self-esteem, And so it's easy for people to maybe mistake like some of the things I say when I'm in these states for like genuine low self-esteem, when really a lot of that is like very temporary, because I was crying earlier today as I wrote that poem, if you can call it that. But it's interesting. You do see online sometimes people will be shocked and disgusted that people want attention. Everyone needs attention. It's required for lifelong. Yeah, see, that's the one. That's a thing that I'm actually gonna be really balls to the wall and just like say exactly what the deal is. like when it comes to what you just said, Joe. My bond with my dad comes from, like, he self-flagellates, right? Like, he puts himself down. He looks down on people. Oh, that person's so vain. It's all about me, all this kind of stuff, right? Like, he's like that. And part of my bond with him is built on that. That's why it was so funny when you were like, he's straight on his dad's side. It's like, yeah, it's like literally, like, I'm literally doing things that, but yeah, it's like, it's weird because I know what it's like to have belief in myself. But like, I know, like, that's the thing, having belief in myself is vanity to him. And yet I have actually embodied that, having that belief in myself before. And I think, Joe, you know that, because you can tell that I actually don't have true low self-esteem. Otherwise we wouldn't even probably be talking. I wouldn't be talking right now. But like, there is a self-flagellating element going on, because I suppose right now I'm working through, that's what I'm working through. I'm making up my mind. Like, I still have a bond with my dad, I still connect with him, talk on the phone and stuff, but like, there's this thing of like, where it's half like, you know, like, I feel like I uphold something that he believes, that whole self-flagellating thing, like, oh, don't think too highly of yourself, all that shit. Even though I've actually, like, lived a lot of life not believing that for a long period of time, and, you know, seen how much better my life is when I do that. But it's something I almost fall back into when I'm emotional or sad. I just start going like making myself a bit small, really, because that's the role I had to play growing up. I mean, he was my father, and so like having a guy like that as your father, you kind of revert to some of that old shit, you know. Punks, I'm gonna respond to what you say, but yeah, that's some of it. In other words, I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong. Wrong. Like, I know it's not right. Like, I feel like it's a very European Christian white thing, this whole self-flagellating, like, oh, don't feel too good about yourself thing. And so someone who's outside of that somewhat, it just feels nice, I don't know, to have them remind me, like, dude, just feel yourself, you know what I mean? Just, if you're feeling good, just feel good. But it's like, yeah, anyway. Okay, I'm going to read Queer Punks and I'll get to you, Joe. It's always important to destruct our views and explore the extremes of our character. Part of the human experience is to understand these extremes coming into balance, the middle path. I mean, that, mate, you're talking about where I'm at now. Like, I don't know how long you've been subscribed to me, Queer Punks, but there was a period of time when I was doing everything wrong. I was doing the extremes. It's almost like doing those extremes allowed me to get more comfortable with going to those crazy places so that I could, through choice and not through like, because I felt before I had that crazy breakdown, I felt like I was being normal just to survive and to fit in. And so just being really freaky and crazy was just a way to, like, you know, shake it off, like shake off the bullshit, that shake off the person I felt I always was pretending to be. I had to pretend to be normal my whole life, so when I acted all crazy, it was an excuse to just be like, actually, I'm not crazy, I like fucking punk fucking shit, you know, like, I want to wear all black all the time. I used to be square, basically. I used to not dress the way I wanted, for example. I used to love heavy music and crazy shit, but I always feel guilty. I'd never let myself wear all black. All this, like, crazy stuff, really, when you think about it. It's just like, but then, yeah, I had that freak out, and that was like that freak out, that breakup led me to actually going, this is my life. Like, this is my life. I'm going to wear fucking the boots I want to wear. I'm going to wear all black if I fucking want to. Like, this is my life. But anyway. Okay. You remember some of those videos? Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'll probably do some of that again, but in like the positive version of that, like where it's like very productive and like epic, hopefully, you know, that's the goal. Okay, some things being said, hang on. Okay, oh, that's a big source probably. I think some parents think they're teaching their kids to be humble. Yeah, Christianity, classic, but they're really teaching them they can't overshine. Yeah, that's basically it. It's just that that's exactly what it is. Like, you sung my battleship, like that's it. That's exactly what it is. It's sad, really. As a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why my dad had such a terrible relationship with my brother, because he was so unapologetically himself that it literally, like, it destroyed, like, it's part of like my family mythology. Like, my brother was the one that never bent the knee, so to speak, to my dad. I did, because I just did for whatever reason. Because I could, I suppose, but he couldn't. He was like, no, I'm me, and this is the way I want to do things. And then my dad just hated him for it. Long story. Actually led to their divorce somewhat. My parents divorced somewhat. But anyway, that's like like actual just family, straight up family law. But anyway, and queer box is 100% correct. It's about balance. Yeah, I remember some of those videos. Yes, you do. Thank God someone remembers that mess. Again, this is crazy to me because I hate when other people think too highly of me. I'm just like, yeah, I'm doing what's too highly? Like, when is it too much for you, Alf? That's such an excellent point. This is my life. Yeah. No, but through the breakup and through that crazy shit I went through, it was literally just like, I've loved heavy music my whole life. Like, I was growing up always trying to find the heaviest shit I could find. I loved it. Like, my music taste was the it was the hardest EDM I could find. It was the most like metal fucking shit. And yet I would dress and act like a complete normie. It was fucked up. Like, it's, in retrospect, it's like messed up that I could lie so completely to others and to myself that like, no, I don't need to like live as any of the things that I love and admire. No, I can just be this psycho who like in my own mind like actually is like super heavy metal, but like to everyone else I'm just like some square dork. Like it was messed up. So that's why I had to freak out, because I was like, what am I doing? Like, am I like, this is my life, right? Like, I had to take a moment and realize that if I kept working myself to the bone to help other people and never live my life, no one else would care. That's a hard lesson to learn. My ex was a bit like that, actually. She had that. I actually taught her some things. She had that same kind of issue, like very much so, actually. Yeah, I respect, but I know that's some hardship to learn. And then I would never actually live my life. I'd just be pretending, yeah, well, that's the same problem. Most things, really, I hate people being like, wow, you can do that. I know I could never do anything like that, right? I mean, I don't know. You shouldn't get to... Why? Why do you not like being given praise? Or... That's so interesting, because I get the feeling of, but I also recognize they're trying to be nice. Yeah, I hate that, but just one person saying great job, Alpha, makes me melt. So it sounds like you dislike being put in positions of superiority, because the difference between someone saying great job, Alf, is great job is like someone patting you on the head, and wow, you can do that is them looking up to you, and saying they could never do anything like that is also looking up to you. So it sounds like you don't like being looked up to, essentially, because, well, it sounds like, and usually people that don't like being looked up to often have an aversion to responsibility, because they've probably had to be too responsible in their life. So they prefer compliments, which implies someone else from the top is looking down and blessing you. Just a guess. Just a wild guess. I could be wrong, though. I might be wrong, but that's what it sounds like. Because I don't know, I can be a bit like that. Not with compliments and stuff, but when I get the impression that, I don't know, when I get the impression that, like, when someone looks up to me, no, one of the things I hate the most is if an adult looks up to me the way a child looks up to me. Like, I'll forgive a child for looking up to me like a child looks up to me because it's a child. But if an adult starts behaving like a child and looks up to me like a little kid, it makes me, because it just reminds me of my mum, to be honest. I love her to bits, but sometimes she just looks at me like I'm the savior of the universe, and I'm like, I'm not your dad. Like, I know I might remind you of him in certain respects, but I'm not him. Like, stop that, now you're seeing the cracks. Hey. Oh, shit. Well. No, but then what's wrong? Listen. That doesn't imply anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. I think, like, unless you want there to be something wrong with that, you know. Stop, now you're seeing the cracks. Shit. Sorry, Al. The paradox of writing a fucking poem where I'm basically talking myself out of streaming, and yet streaming and just having the best time, is quite funny, really. And also just fully knowing, like, this streaming is just beginning to become something nice and real, you know, it's funny. But, yeah. Well, see the cracks, yeah, I guess, but I don't know, man. Like, you just gotta own it. There's nothing else to it, really. But then I suppose you don't want to own it, so then it annoys you because you're like, I can't change. Like, oh. So I suppose in some ways you don't like being seen, so you want to break, I guess, or something. That's also kind of the hard amount, being vulnerable, showing weakness, and it opens you up to getting hurt. That's scary. Yeah, it does, yeah. I think it depends, it depends on a person's constitution. Like, some people are, for some people, being vulnerable is, they feel like there's more to lose than others. Like, for me, I feel like some people are raised in a way that gives them a much easier time expressing vulnerability. One thing about me, I love romance, rom-coms, romantic novels, anything having to do with love. Right. I mean, right. I feel like this is getting onto something. Or maybe you're just throwing that. Just one thing about me. Go on. No, actually, you know what? Fuck it, no. That's true self-love right there. Just like straight up, just like, one thing about me, I love rom-coms. The end. Just like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. No need to qualify it. Just tell us you love rom-coms. And so much of love has just been goofy and embarrassing, which is so not like me, but also is it. It's like I mentioned, you said, but love feels weird. I mean, all the rules go out the fucking window with love, really. It's like, so much of love isn't about what the chemical is. You know, it's something I was thinking about, and it's probably been said before, really, but it's like, love really is like combining two elements. Now, on their own, an element, they can be completely, an element is an element, but it's about what happens when you combine them that makes love what it is. That's just that's just a quote that would be on a mug or something, but like, anyway, I suppose it's kind of relevant. But yeah, no, I agree. So much of love is being goofy and embarrassing. Yeah. But also I think love serves a purpose. Because in a lot of ways, for me, I felt like I was only goofy and embarrassing. Like, of course, like, you're goofy and embarrassing because it's just fun, and you're showing your kind of not animal side, but like, I suppose it's kind of animal side, because you're just like, hey, I'm just this guy, like, you know, I'm supposedly, like, I'm a spiritual being encapsulated in a physical body, but I guess for the sake of like, I happen to be, I'm this guy, at least in this life, so you just kind of like, but then also, hang on, I made that very metaphysical. I have lived a life where I must not be vulnerable in any way, and every small crack is an unaffordable weakness. Oh, jeez, man, I'm sorry. That's like, but I mean, judged on what it sounds like you and your friends have been through, that stands to reason. Honestly, it's why I've made so many videos on like the system and stuff, being against the system, because I do believe we live in a system which, in other words, when everything else falls through, when family structures fail, when friends are terrible, when there's no community around to keep everything sound, and you start relying on the system without any filtration, because family essentially is a system by which it filters the world. Family filters the world for you. It's like a friendly filter that keeps everything together. And when that fails, you're just at the mercy of the system. And it's why I've written so many things against the system, because what you're talking about, Alf, the things that you're dealing with, like a byproduct of having to deal with the system firsthand is having problems with vulnerability, all this stuff. It's like, because our system is built on, I don't even want to talk about Rome anymore, because in that video I was attributing all of it to Rome and all this kind of stuff to do with Jesus and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's pretty evident that anyone who's face to face with the system, I have been somewhat, you have been in a more real way, comes like, you can't be vulnerable, you can't be open, you got to be tough, you got to and it's so bad. So yeah, that's why I've always been so against it, and I've like torn it apart in my own way. Like, if you're listening to a love song or listening to a romantic convo, if you're not in love mode, you're like, girl, this is embarrassing, stand up. I mean, I think a certain kind of person needs to remind themselves of that. I don't, because my problem is that I can be too cold, you know. Some guy I know was like, hey cutie, he wants more porn from me, and I'm not going to give it to him because I'm doing a live stream and I'm not in the mood. But girl, this is embarrassing, stand up. Yeah, I mean, for a certain kind of constitution, that's a good, you might need to do that. Whereas like someone like me who's a bit cold probably should. Like I think I enjoy every time I cry because I think I need someone like me probably needs to. I can become cold. Alpha has diabolical ops. Yeah, sniffing out any form of weakness. That's sniffing out any form of weakness to strike at all time. Like I feel like prison is the ultimate embodiment of the kind of person the system creates. Like if you just like, what does it say about our world if a child without a family most likely will just end up an inmate? Or even worse, a psycho killer or something. But that's just what it's... Anyway, I won't go there, but that's just kind of the vibe. And so it goes that the stream with the poem in became about love. I suppose so, yeah. The system loves that, which is why they always prey on vulnerable people. Exactly. It's so, like, one of the things that allowed me to really tear apart the system that we live in was actually acknowledging how thoroughly it is against you. Like, that's one of the things that allowed me to tear it apart. And a lot of the time it's against you. Like, yeah, somewhere there are people that do it on purpose, but it's mostly inadvertently. There's so much inertia, like so many things have been set in motion to make the world the cold, hard place it is, that it doesn't need to be, and it's changing, thankfully. But like, there's just so much inertia. So many things have been put in motion and set in motion to make the world the fucked up place it has been historically for so long, and it's beginning. I feel it's really beginning to change, but it's just been this way for so long for so many reasons. And like, you know, I studied serial killers for a small time, and I'm so glad I did. You learn so much about the system, paradoxically. So many serial killers, they are, a lot of them, you know, take a darker turn here, but a lot of them have other kinds of people. Like, it's weird because I read about them, and yet I hate to say it, I almost relate to them, because one thing I have in common with them, and a lot of people have in common with them, is that, except they just have to do a really extreme version of it, is this schizoid thing you have to do. Like, it's a natural capacity, and everyone has more or less of it, but the ability to disconnect from your feelings, like, they have like way too much of that. Psychopaths and sociopaths and serial killers usually have way too much, but I've developed some of that. I think arguably like the non-pathological version of that is like the killer instinct, the ability to kill an animal or even kill a person should you need to do that. Not that I would know, I have not killed anyone, but you know, that capacity to divorce oneself from their emotions. Yeah, it's all just, yeah, it's pretty intense, man. The system we live in is so unloving, really, if you want to keep it really simple, to like boil all the complexities of the system down to some really, really almost like oversimplified truths, really. But it's just, there's no love, and it's brutal, and it's why there's just so much fallout from our system. Willie's puts me in the mind of the musical carousel. So many golden age musicals about strange and dark subject matter, but the songs are so happy. Right. I think I need to look that up real quick. Is there anything, like, I love Cabaret so much, and if Carousel's anything like Cabaret, I'll probably like it so much, because I just like darker stuff. I mean, there's probably some renditions of it that are really good, but anyway, yeah, I don't know. But I often think that's the case, though. I think, like, Oklahoma is about a guy who murders a man who's attempting to molest his wife on that. Wait. Oklahoma is about a guy who murders a man who ends up... Whoa. So many things have just been said. On their wedding day, and ends with him fleeing the state so he doesn't get executed by the authorities. I mean, that's a real mixed bag. You can use the system, though, once you see how it works. Yeah. Even though it's dark, it can also be a teacher. It can teach us how to not conduct ourselves to strength. Exactly. And paradoxically, it's funny because in a lot of ways, the system is just... It's like a monster that's gotten too big and too powerful for its own needs. Isn't it easy for everyone to disconnect from their emotions? I mean, is it not something everyone could do? No. They can't. Like, some people are very, very... I mean, I say this as, like, straight, somewhat guy, is that, like... Or, like, the straighter angles of me. You know what? Fuck it. No, I don't want it to come across, like... I was going to say I'm a straight guy, you know. Freudian slip or something, but It's like, no, but like, I don't know, girls are like the clearest sign of that. Like some of them really are very, very emotional, and like they get very terrified of men purely on the basis that more men have the capacity to divorce from their emotions than others do. But a lot of people struggle to handle their emotions. Some can't hide them, some can't access them at all. That would be us, you know, me and Alf. But yeah, no, Alf, man, it is not easy for everyone to disconnect from their emotions. No. Like we have been through things, you probably more than me, have been through things that have allowed you to develop a capacity to divorce yourself from the way that you feel and do things whilst actually feeling another way. That's a skill, but it's also a prison. It can become a prison. I would know because I've lived it, my own version of it. That same, like the same factors that you went through that allowed you to develop that capacity, I feel like many serial killers have had similar experiences, except like 10 times worse. So then that's what makes them psycho, because they like literally go through so much like stuff that causes them to become so split in themselves that they literally like kill others to cope with how ripped in half they've been from that. Like they're so divorced from their own sense of self and their own emotions, and so warped through the pain they've been through that they literally like I'll turn you into me, you know. It's like a Henry Rollins song, I'll turn you into me because I'm a liar. It's like Liar by Henry Rollins. It's like that. It's like, yeah, I'll turn you into me. Like that's what trauma is. For some, the difficulty lies in figuring out what certain emotions feel like and training oneself to experience them. Obvious, yeah, I feel that, man. True, a lot of people are alienated from feelings within their. Yeah, you're talking to one of them who, I mean, I was like that. But some would say I'm still cold. You know, to a lot of people, I'm still really cold. Like, can you not like just go numb and be like, I don't need to feel this, so I won't? You can, yeah, you can do that. But look, I'm going to present this to you in a really neutral way, because a lot of people, especially emotional people, will come to you and they'll present this kind of information in a way that's very, I mean, really, they want something from you, you know, often. But, you know, I have no vested interest. I just care about you as a person. I don't expect you to, you know, we're kind of mildly acquainted. Actually, I won't say that. We've both shared a lot about each other. But nevertheless, no, I feel the need to say, I'll say it like this. Like, it's up to you, man, if you want to feel or not. But I will say that feeling opens you up to another dimension of, I mean, it's another form of intelligence, Alf. And I say that as someone who was initially schizoid and learned to become someone who feels deeply. Like, it's another form of intelligence. There are many things in life that prior to having an emotional awakening didn't make sense to me in life, but having had one, suddenly I can read, I can see. It's like honestly, when you spent so long viewing life through the lens of the mind or just through the lens of the heart, when you get the other thing, because you're really functioning when you have both. But like when you've just been through one for so long, get something like actually using the other one, it's like unplugging from the matrix. It's crazy. Like, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people go numb though. There's nothing wrong with it, but that's just what most people do, I suppose. But that's again another problem with the system, is that it creates schizoid people. It creates people that don't have access to their fullness, which would be a full mind, a full heart, an awakened spirit, a loving heart, and a strong mind. You know, I think that's really what human beings need to feel whole. Often people just end up with a strong mind or an open, loving heart, and that's it. You know, they just have one. Or worse, the most like isolating is just a spirit, you know, and then you're just like a monk or something in a mountain. But, you know, ideally you have all three, and by then you're just kind of like, fucking hell, man, you're like, you've got more power than many people. You're so aware of things. You're getting all this different information. You're getting information through the way something makes you feel, you know, because if your heart centers are awakened, if you can feel stuff deeply, you encounter a situation or a scenario, and you're in touch with your feelings, you can go, oh, my feelings are telling me this. I feel good, this feels good, but also with a twinge of sadness or irony, whatever. That's the heart, that's how it feels. Then the mind, you analyze the situation as well, you know, with your developed facilities for thinking. You can, on a mental level, analyze the situation. It's just another form of intelligence. It's very useful. But then I had a relationship to help guide me into it, because for many years, up until the age of 19, I couldn't actually feel. It was through falling in love and having a lover that taught me she was extremely emotional, too emotional. I suppose I was too intellectual and she was too emotional, but we, you know, exchanged, and that's how I became comfortable feeling and she became comfortable thinking. And now we're both flourishing in our own different ways, albeit it's been very difficult, but I think we're flourishing just differently, which is so strange. Ideology, in the way that Lacan defines it, I don't know who that is, it's so powerful that we become separated from our own bodies, literally ourselves. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, because so much of that's just this, again, our system is so much of it. Do you find that when you detach from your emotions, it takes seeing something? I meant Althusser, not Lacan. I'm a hack, bro. You're mentioning, I don't know any of these guys, so don't worry, you're not being graded, because I don't know who you're talking about, dude. I'm not learned in that way. Like, a lot of stuff I talk about, I just talk from experience. I don't know about the intellectual side of it. So wait, hang on. I want to read what Alf said again. And then I'll get to queer punks. Do you find that when you detach from your emotions, it takes seeing something or someone saying something or doing something to sort of turn them back on? Yeah. But this is the thing though. Like, I avoid situations where I need to turn my emotions off. It's one of the reasons why I avoid working. Because that's an environment I know I'm going to have to put my feelings to one side again, which is something I dread, because, you know, after you have an emotional awakening, which essentially felt like going mad and like basically becoming BPD, because that's what it really was like. It was like, I can't control my emotionality. I'm feeling, seeing and thinking and feeling things that I've held on the back burner for years, and now I'm losing my shit and I need to keep it cool, but I'm finding it very hard to. So yeah, I mean, like, I have the luck, you might say, of having a mother who allows me to lovingly live here / rot here. You know, it depends on how you look at it. So I've had the opportunity to avoid that compartmentalization process that you have to undergo to, you know, have a job, I guess, 9 times out of 10, which I'm probably gonna have to start doing again soon, because my life isn't, much as I like doing these fucking nightly streams, I also probably need to get a job soon again. But yeah, I think, Alf, if I was working, I would be that is the way emotions would work for me. Yeah, in the same way you're mentioning, where like I'd be having to deal with life, and then someone or something would remind me, and I'd go, oh God, and then you know. But then because I'm not working, I get to stay in this state where, like, most of the time I'm numb. As a thinking orientated person, we're usually just like, I'm just analyzing stuff, and then, you know, I listen to music or I play music, or there's just stuff that media I'll consume or think or feel that will make me feel stuff, and realizations I'll have that will make me feel things. So, but yeah, if I was working, I'd be doing exactly what you said, which is like, oh no, then this thing happened, then I got sad. Whereas, like, I feel like feeling people are just constantly using their feelings to gauge reality around them, which is not something that I really. But yeah, Joe, I will say I don't know who Althusser is, and Lacan. I should probably look them up. But queer punks, feeling is where the teachings are. Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's a reason why emotions are deemed a weakness from a system. Yeah, I know. It's literally your connection to God somewhat is found in your emotions, and yeah, to advocate for yourself, you have to explore yourself. Yeah, like I now, like, dude, how did you figure that out? That's great. Like, yeah, you do. That's how I learned to stand up for myself more as a person. Like, I'm less afraid. Like, before I get in touch with my emotions, like, I had a lot of trouble standing up for myself, and yeah, it's that whole thing. It's a whole thing. I think you know. But yeah, I learned to advocate for myself only through exploring my feelings, because it allowed me to know, no, I've actually been through shit, and I do experience pain, and I do feel pain, and I am real, and I do deserve respect. So now I have standards. But I've also not become a bully either. I've just learned to just go, like, no, like, I won't be spoken to a certain way. I will not tolerate it. I shouldn't, nor should I. Okay, quick. If you work a regular job, what would you be doing in your best case imaginary scenario? Oh man, so many good questions. So much happening. I hope I'm not a psychopath. That wouldn't be great, I think. I mean, I think I have been one, and I think anyone who is more mentally orientated definitely could empathize with a psychopath for sure. It's not even... I don't really consider mental illnesses. I don't think of them as scary things. They're really not that far out of reach for anyone. Given the right circumstances, anyone could probably end up being schizophrenic. Yes, even schizophrenic. The issue with just turning it off and on again is risk missing out on the learning journey, or if nothing else, putting yourself at the risk of doing so, they're just following order style. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. But also, it's the thing. Like, I'm wary of talking Alf out of the way he operates, because it's probably useful for the way he lives his life. Because, like, up until now, the way you've been doing things is how you've been navigating your existence, right? And as well, it's really hard for me to recommend feeling more, because so much of my ability to feel came from having a relationship in which, there's a woman in front of me, like, guiding me as lovingly as possible toward my own emotions by literally being like this kind of physical embodiment of all the things. She was like the physical embodiment of everything that I'd rejected within myself. So as you can imagine, this sexy thing in front of me is like everything that I won't accept about myself. As you can imagine, we were making out on the floor in a park, like it was madness when we first met. It was like we couldn't keep our hands off each other. Like, it's like, you are literally the missing part of me. Like, literally, in certain respects, like symbolically, literally on a symbolic level, like, she was the thing that was missing from my soul, that I like exiled from within my own soul. So yeah, as you can imagine, it was pretty crazy. Anyway, yeah, but I think that's what a real relationship is, I suppose, or a kind of real relationship is one where it's a reconnection with some lost aspect of oneself. But again, I think that's only necessary if someone is schizoid in that sense, but unfortunately so many of us are. So it's just a kind of necessity, though a beautiful one, a beautiful necessity. I learned so much and it was so beneficial. But yeah, I don't know how one would go about reacquainting themselves with their feeling dimension as a thinker without someone to guide them the way I was guided. But I don't know, it could be possible, especially if someone's at an older age. But I don't think it'd be easy. And definitely love and relationships help, or they help me at least. So yeah, I'm easy on the advice, Chris, because it's like, I had a lot of help. You learn through experiences. We also have to unlearn a lot of stuff too. Yes, we do. Straight up. Althusser was a Marxist philosopher who wrote a lot in the 60s. His most famous essay is the one he wrote on ideology, so I low-key flopped my message. Okay. I mean, man, you're telling me. But I have to turn off those feelings, or someday I'll walk into work and won't say good morning. Bro, Carol, man. I'll just backhand her off her chest. I love you, man. You crack me up, man. Yeah, that's fine. I feel like she deserve it as well. Well, like, this is the thing. I have to be wary about giving advice, because I feel like there'd be someone better suited to give you. In other words, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I'm like, I've been through some pretty serious depths, but there are some depths that I have never been to. So I can only assume what would be a way that you could reconvene with your feelings, having been through what you've experienced. But like, let her break her discharge in peace. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think, maybe you're not seriously asking me. Maybe I'm taking your joke too serious. But like, damn, Carol really has you tied down. Yeah, I sense a lot of like mother projection or something like that, or like I sense primary caregiver projection or something, like some kind of like this fucking woman who is like pissing me off. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. You probably like exploring your feelings, like having an emotional awakening is going to, it could potentially ruin your life, but it will 20 trillion billion zillion 1,000% change your life. That's for sure. I don't know if it might ruin your life. I mean, it's likely it's going to ruin your life if you have an emotional awakening. If you're a very mentally oriented person and you reach down and reconvene with your emotions in a really deep way, and you feel everything you've put on reserve, you will most likely ruin your life temporarily. But one thing I know for just without a shadow of a doubt is that your life will change, because when you feel these feelings, they're going to tell you things about things you've experienced and lived that will make certain things you've been doing become intolerable. Like you will not do them anymore because you're going to go, because there will essentially be a second voice that is yours telling you things. Because if you're in your mind, you're just always listening to one voice. But when you have your heart, you're listening to another voice that is actually arguably in a lot of senses more you than even your mind. And so you're just going to be like, you will change your life, period. That is for sure. She's collecting the plates to freshen up the baseboards in her house, methinks. I fucking hate methinks. I've always hated it. Actually, I've learned to make peace with it. I've learned to make peace with the fact that some people say methinks, but it makes me want to it used to make me want to literally like bite my own face off and like shove my face into a wall. I'm just saying she knows what she's doing. She works in accounting. She sees how much replacement drives cost. It's her embezzling the difference. She's putting on a wig and a false moustache and fixing that shit and improving. Look, Carol loves you, alright? Just in her own way. Carol loves everyone. Just in her own way. Carol. There is no Carol in HR. It's embezzling the difference. Oh, man. Well, she knows what she's doing. Well, I don't know what to tell you about Carol. Oh, Carol was a hateful bitch. I know this to be true, but she's right. She's an icon and she's the moment. Yeah, she sounds like the character that you love as someone that's not involved in what's going on. Like from a show standpoint, you're like, yeah, that bitch is iconic, but actually dealing with her is like, fucking kill me. Yeah, you're very, yeah, RBs, I feel like you're the one actually getting what I'm putting down. Like you're the guy actually, like, you get what I'm saying. Like the danger, the actual visceral, hot, burning, searing, boiling danger of what I'm actually implying. But anyway, we'll just back up from that. I didn't say anything. I was just playing with hypotheticals. Who cares, right? I didn't say any. I wouldn't say anything deep or with any real significance. No, it's not as if I haven't lived it in my own way and actually know from experience. Anyway, beep 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 beep. Reverse. Never said anything. Yeah, it's not a casual thing to do. It's not a casual thing to do. Bro, like I upended my entire life. Like I lost. Like I've like. Oh my god, dude. Like having an emotional awakening is the single most like. You feel like you're going Super Saiyan while actually looking like a deranged penguin that can't find its footing because it's drunk. That's what having an emotional awakening is like. It's like you feel like you're a Super Saiyan, like you feel like you're God, and in some ways you are kind of reconvening with the part of you that knows its like intrinsic worth as part of creation. So there is some kind of truth to that, but you feel like a Super Saiyan, but you come across like a drunk penguin. At least that's how it felt for me. And it's funny because like Joe was like, oh, you always take everything you say back. It's like, yeah, because when you have an emotional awakening, that's how it's like. It's like you feel like you're God, and so that's the part where I'm willing to express things. But then you feel like a fucking. But then like you like my body couldn't take it. Like I couldn't. Like it's like it's running. It's like as you explore these emotions and feelings, you're like running up against all your conditioning that's saying no, don't do it. And yet the emotions. But once you've had that awakening, you can't stop it. So like you're literally like feeling all this stuff, and it's going like, you love black, you love metal music, you spend your whole life pretending to be normal. It's like. And you're just not gonna, yeah, you're just, yeah. Like you've been hiding your whole life, dude. it's like so crazy and metal and just in madness. Dude, it might be, man. Alf, I'll be honest with you, it might be, yeah. Like if you've actually experienced violence, like it will, like, dude, I haven't been through a lot of things that you've been through, and I'm telling you, it got ghetto as fuck. So, like, it will be bloody, probably. Like if you do it, so you gotta be careful, man. This shit is like you're really playing with fire. But I think I'll also say if you're older, you could probably handle it a lot better. But yeah, it's like you're playing with fire. Like it's like you're reconvening with every single sentiment that you've buried and letting and hearing it in full. You're hearing every feeling you've had to repress. You're hearing it in full, and it's going like, I feel this, I feel that, and so you know, it's like you want to wear a straitjacket almost, you know, because you're just, it's like you're possessed a little bit. The emotions convo are so interesting to me, like the idea of just not feeling anything and sitting there. This is normal, just regular shit, dude. That's it. But this is what I'm saying. Feeling like mentally oriented people, we are psychos, man. To put it bluntly, like the mentally oriented people are psychos. Like we live lives of like cold. We are like, our head is like an office building. Like period. Like the office, skyscrapers, people wearing suits. These are all just physical manifestations of the way mentally orientated people feel most of their life. And I'm telling you that from experience. Like when you have an emotional awakening, it is literally like in the middle of an office, a bunch of belly dancers, strippers, male and female and transgender. Literally, it's like and like every drug you've ever seen, and it's fucking bedlam. Like it's bedlam. That's what an emotional awakening is. It's like, you know, no, actually, I can actually explain it really succinctly. You know, I don't know if you guys know FKA Twigs, but FKA Twigs, she made a video called Eusexual. I don't really like it very much, but it is very symbolically relevant to what I'm talking about. It's literally like you're in an office building and suddenly like people are just making out and like fucking like there's just people just going tribal, you know, and that's what it is. Because it's like you're this dork, and then no, you know what it is? This is a perfect metaphor. Having an emotional awakening as a thinking person is like being the biggest fucking dorkiest, most uptight nerd in school, and literally the hottest girl or the hottest guy, for your sake, the hottest, coolest, hairiest, because I know what you're into, Alf, but like the hottest guy you can think of just coming up to you and just doing whatever you want. Like literally, like whatever it is you're into, he just starts doing that. That's what having an emotional awakening is like. It's like so good because it's gratifying on levels that are insane. It's like, oh my god, like that's what it felt like for me. You know, I felt like I was this massive dork, and then like my emotions were like the sexiest girl I've ever seen, just getting on top of me and just going, here's everything you've ever wanted, and you're like, what the fuck, you know, just my little monkey mind is just like in a trillion pieces. Like I'm just like I can't, what the fuck, you know. It's like it's like being the biggest dork in school and then suddenly living but then suddenly exchanging lives with like Lemmy, like the biggest rock star, or like Jimi Hendrix, or like fucking Michael Jackson or something. It's like literally like people's like paint peeling screams for you. It's like, you know, it's like, it's nuts. Yeah, I think you know what the fuck I'm gonna say, I liked curry flavored Twiglets, and I think they should bring them back. I love you, man. I love you, Alf. You're awesome. A curry flavored Twiglet. A Twiglet is a Marmite flavored treat, and what Alf is saying is he likes a curry flavored, Marmite flavored treat snack, which is very, very good. It's a very something. If you're interested, Alf, then maybe begin the unfolding process through the pursuit of beauty first. Chase the thing that makes your body tremble with elation. Oh yeah, you get it, Arby's. Yeah, yeah, nice. If nothing else, it will give you a sense for the darkness. Right, yeah, because beauty, I feel like beauty through beauty is so bright and so light, it exposes the darkness within us inadvertently. 9 times out of 10. And hey, I mean, I don't know if you guys had fun with it, but like the notion of, Oh man, I could go into this. All right, I'll be right back, guys. I'm just gonna use the bathroom real quick. I've drunk too much water. Dance like a gangster. Okay. I want to say I actually really feel like I should mention this. Like, I might actually be explaining what spiritual like the things I'm explaining might actually be me describing my spiritual awakening rather than emotional awakening. Paradoxically, an emotional awakening is part of a spiritual awakening, but it might just be one and the same. And I like I should probably preface that what I'm saying does have, whilst it does just sound like I'm talking about, oh, getting in touch with your emotions, what I'm saying might actually have ontological implications as well that I'm not really. Because when I think about it, like, so much of me getting in touch with my emotions did have. Eventually, it starts leading to questions of God, and like you start using emotions to convene with God in a certain way that I didn't even know was possible. But anyway, so yeah, this might just saying, just throwing that out there. But yeah, okay. If you're interested, chase beauty. If nothing else, the pursuit of beauty. Yeah, there's a lot out there, but something has done will hit you. Something someone has done will hit you like a freight train. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, if you look for it. But then also, I'll say the crazy thing about the mind is that it gets so good at avoiding emotion. It often takes trauma or crazy circumstances to get someone to break out of the cycle of not stimulating the emotion. Because often, if someone has developed a mind in a certain way, it will keep itself from ever experiencing things that could potentially ignite the fire of emotion within them. Just saying. So in a sense, it's almost like not only is someone, like, I'll speak for myself, not only am I seeing in grayscale because of the way I am so mentally orientated, but I'm actually I've primed myself to ignore, reject, or be repulsed by things that could potentially ignite the ability to start seeing in color again. Are you familiar with Ram Dass? Of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, at this point, it's weird, like, talking about emotions, but really, this is just spirituality at this point. Like it has been for like the past half an hour. Like, I've just been because when I start saying things like, oh, you're like a nerd, and then it's like the hottest girl ever, hottest guy if you're a guy, or whatever, whichever you need. like the best, like you're like this tiny thing, and then the thing that you think is the greatest is something interested in you. You're really talking about, these are like metaphors that are akin to like what spiritual experiences offer. So yeah, but yeah, of course I've heard of Ram Dass, man. Of course. That sounds like a waste of time. I don't know. Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, Alf is kind of proving my point. It's like, if there's, it depends. By the way, Alf, I would argue it only sounds like a waste of time because your definition of what it means to be set free, for whatever reason, is unappealing to you. And there may be good reasons for it, man. Like, you may, like, it's not as simple as like, oh, you just light this fuse and suddenly you set everything off and you're free. It's like, It's complex. It's not so simple. Not everyone. There's not like, and in some sense, there's almost this thing of like, not everyone is meant to. Not everyone is a powder keg to be set off. Like there's great utility in not. Like every life is valid. And if someone decides not to do that, that's fine. It's more just, I don't know. I'll phrase it to you this way, Alf. Like, for me, being a person that was mentally orientated or stuck in certain ways of thinking and being, to free myself from that was like the ultimate form of, it was like the most liberating thing I've ever experienced, because it was something that I didn't even know, or only had the vaguest notion that it could be done. It's almost impossible, really. It's like you've done the impossible in a lot of ways. It's like, holy shit, like I'm living and feeling things I didn't even think was possible. There's an aspect of comfort, yeah. It takes a lot of discomfort to explore these things. Let's be real. It's easier to remain comfortable in our ways. Yeah. I think, yeah. I think I'm taking my circumstances for granted. But then also, no. But then also it's different, because I feel like Alf would instantly jump to that and just be like, motherfucker, like I've been through a lot of discomfort, and I don't think he'd be lying either. So it depends, I think there are some people who have an aversion to this some people have an aversion to discomfort because they actually just have experienced too much of it. Like too much has been imposed on them for them to actually seek it out in a way that like would feel rewarding for them. And as well, like some people, for example, like some people, everyone has it's worth mentioning, like everyone has different things that they feel they can go fucking balls deep into. Like I doubt I could work as hard as Alf or some other people, but I doubt a lot of people could go as deep or introspect as hard as me. And that's just because like that's my field of endeavor. Just like someone else's field of endeavor is like, like I can go online and I can see Red Bull of like guys like flying over vast things on skis, like people doing like unimaginable things on a skateboard or skis, like actually like insane shit, like so brave, like clap, holy shit, man, It's like, yeah, I mean, I could learn to do a bit of that maybe if I tried really hard, but there's just like, we all have our strengths in it, and like mine happen to be spiritual somewhat, but that's just the way it is. I mean, I could probably learn to be more like, I could learn to like get really good on a BMX or something, but it's like, as far as I'm concerned, relative to my life path, I'm glad I've prioritized spiritual, whatever, endeavor, exploration. Because it's also one of the rarest fields of endeavor, and it's also the most, it's invisible. It's like I've, honestly, like learning about spirituality and metaphysics is like getting a degree in a subject people don't even really know exists in a certain way, because it is so, it's like you're dealing with things that are both real and invisible. So it's like, what even are you doing? Like, and yet it's real because you've felt it and you've seen it, and yet, anyway. I would like, exactly, simply don't have the time. There are infinite things to understand in every direction, but exactly. That said, and also what people feel compelled to walk towards is entirely based on how subjectively people find things interesting. Like people don't have the time, but it's also more so, it's almost that like, there are infinite number of things to understand in every direction, and plenty of people will walk each path because everyone is interested in different fields. So I just happen to be interested in spiritual ones, but like the same way that I talk about spirituality and stuff is the same way someone who's like probably a pretty decent skater talks about skateboarding, You know, if like a semi-pro skateboarder would talk about skateboarding, I feel like I talk about metaphysics. No, I don't even think I'm flattering myself. I think that's fairly astute. I think so. I think that's fairly accurate. I think I'd be, if I was to translate my abilities spiritually to skateboarding, I think I'd be semi-pro. Yeah. Yeah. Like I can do a lot of things that like a lot of people can't do. Emotionally, understanding wise, psychology wise, like analyzing people, analyzing myself. But yeah, as Arby says, it's like, it is literally like that. Everyone has their thing that they get best at, you know? And ideally we just go as far as we can and just come back home and share it with everyone we can. And, you know, I see the guys skateboarding and I'm like, holy shit, I'm so inspired. And then if they fucking like lose their mind or something, I'm there to be like, hey man, these things, you know? To me, it has very little meaning. I don't really care, but I'm very aware of it. Exactly. That's what I mean. You don't need to be, man. Like, it's like, if you're fucking, I just want people to go where they feel they need to go, you know? Because I know that. Like, what I'm suggesting is just what I would do. But everyone needs to do what's right for their constitution and what they need. And Alf, I feel like you know what you need. You know? Because I don't think anyone who says I'm very aware of where I am doesn't know what they need. So that's why I'm not pushy with this shit. But I'm just not afraid to also get like flowery with the language and stuff, because I don't know, like separately from you, because you're saying you're not that drawn to it. But for me, I know I'd be lying if I didn't act like some of the most interesting stuff hasn't been. Some of the most amazing things I've ever experienced in my life, I'd be lying if I acted like it wasn't through like self-endeavor or spiritual stuff, or like feeling certain things, using my imagination, using music or whatever. But then, no, like queer punks, I'd say also like this kind of field of endeavor is very music adjacent. I feel like it's why you're like literally, you know, you bringing up Ram Dass and stuff is like so. I feel like you're more or less meeting me where I'm at in a sense, because I feel like a lot of the stuff I'm talking about is very, very pertinent for making. I mean, it helps to understand this stuff as a musician, 100%. Like the more bliss and pleasure you experience, it's like a given that would be great to be able to access as a musician, because your whole job as a musician is to impart people with pleasure. And so like, obviously it behooves a musician to have a spiritual awakening, because it's like, you can just, because unless you experience it, how can you share it? Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, RB says, plus there's a real argument to be made that we occasionally need to stop pushing the external boundaries and allow deeper culture to form where the economy stands for. Yeah, true. I mean, it depends though. Some people, thankfully, some people never stop going, you know. It's funny because I feel like spiritual people are always so quick to be like, oh no, everyone needs to introspect more. But then what happens when something goes wrong and you really need someone to take care of something, and then you're literally relying on someone who does not introspect to help you? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I get that there are some people that would probably do well with like more introspection and thinking about themselves and shit. But there's a demographic that will never stop working until they die, and like, because that's their jam, that's their thing, and no one's gonna take that from them. Like, unless life takes it from them, no one's gonna take it from them. So, and then you're probably gonna end up at their mercy at some point. Like, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm so spiritual, I'm so introspective, and then like, you know, you break your arm or something, and then there's a doctor. Thank God there's a doctor who doesn't introspect all the time and just is so busy doctoring that he like, thank God he's there to fix my arm. Spirituality also does not have to be this profound thing. There's beauty and simplicity. Yeah, of course. You can learn a lot just observing nature. Time is a bit factor. We have so many distractions. Yeah, man. I agree. I feel like that aspect of spirituality is something that I'm learning a bit more of. Time is like, yeah, it's like the greatest currency we have, really. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very middle of the line when it comes to the value of spirituality and stuff, because so often it's been proven to me that like, for whatever reason I'm meant to know this, for whatever reason I'm meant to explore these realms, for whatever reason I'm meant to understand this stuff, and certain other people are meant to understand it, but that doesn't mean everyone is meant to. because they're just not. And the number of times I've relied on people that don't think about any of this shit has just proven to me, like, yeah, I know what works for me. I may know what works for some other people, but no one knows what works for everyone. Nor should they, nor will they. The end. And if they did, it would mean they are literally God, because yeah. Yeah. Oh, this got lofty, didn't it? Wow, this got, oh man, you talk about spirituality, you start getting, it's like you're in the fucking clouds and you start getting drunk and shit. You're like, fuck. You can't breathe because you're like, it's so fucking lofty up here. And then, you know, it's so, fucking hell, man. Everything is so sequestered and so, I have like I have a vocabulary of words exactly expressing this kind of sentiment. Hang on. Yeah, clandestine, yeah. It's so like the top of, it's so like the top of Mount Olympus or some shit. It's like, nah. Anyway, I don't know. I guess we need to start walking down from the mountain now. Either that or everyone's left this stream. Excuse me. Either that or the stream has ended without me knowing, which has happened before, and I hope not. Nope, it hasn't. People are still here. I think they're just happy to let me blabber. Blah, blah, blah. I can just say anything. You guys are fucking watching this. You guys are experiencing this like a podcast. You're all doing other things. Whoa. I can say anything. Oh my God. I'm a chicken. I'm a frog. Whoa. I could just while out because no one's at the keyboard. Fuck you. No. Just say something completely unhinged, like because I can. No, I love you guys. Unfuck you. Undo. Beep beep. Control Z. Sorry, I just couldn't help myself. I like it. Ever since I learned to burn things down, I've gotten addicted to starting minor fires. because I think once you learn to burn everything down, you always keep a lighter handy, even if you don't smoke. Okay. Well, one day I might find something that brings me real joy, or maybe I already have, but just don't let on. I think, I'm tempted to say, Alf, do you have an aversion to joy itself? Do you have an aversion to joy? I mean, honestly, like, there's a lot I could do, but it would depend on your willingness to be vulnerable and stuff. Yeah, yeah, and stuff to like cushion saying that. But no, it's true. Yeah, that's the loss, I guess. That's the inherent loss, is that you would have to be vulnerable. Because I'd have to figure out what your constitution is somewhat, and also I'd have to say there's only, I don't know how much I'd be able to help you figure that out, but because it helps to the more like verbatim your experiences are to someone else, the more useful their advice is. But one day, okay, hang on, I might find something that brings me real joy, and maybe I already have, but I don't know. I mean, what's your relationship to joy? Is what I'm tempted to ask you. I'm drinking instead of eating. I ate so much tinned fish last night. This morning, I don't even remember. I can't even keep track of time. I don't know why. I just went on a tear. I ate like 2 tins of sardines and had like 3 anchovy sandwiches. Ever since I started doing these dumb tin fish reviews, I've just gotten addicted to eating fucking fish. Like tinned fish in particular. Like, it's so dumb. It's nice though. It's really tasty. Fucking sardines are so good, man. Yeah, Alf, what is your relationship to joy? and then we can confront some of this a little bit. Maybe I can get you closer to understanding something that you want to understand about yourself. That's good enough for me, man. If I can help someone get in the right direction, at least that's something. Can't make any promises about, because I don't know, like I feel like it's so hard to take someone all the way. I almost feel like love is not the only way, but like it is like the way to take someone, like like love is the equivalent of being able to grab someone's hand and like take them over the threshold. But yeah, as far as this goes, it's like what speak. Tell us about your predicament. Like what do you think would bring you real joy? I suppose. Fuck, like talking about your relationship to joy. Like what do you even think would bring you real joy? Love, another unaffordable weakness. Oh, but oh man. So you've never been in love before, Alf? Come on now. Don't. You can. Yeah. But RBs, I completely agree. I mean, that's just a given. You're just speaking pure sense. I know what brings you real joy, but it's not a good thing. Okay, so something tells me like fucking drugs or like fucking hiring prostitutes or I don't know, dude. I'm not gonna make assumptions about what gets you off, but in life, but fucking frequenting my local fucking male strip club. There aren't many male strip clubs, are there? I don't know if there are any in England. It's a shame for the gays. I mean, I won't lie. I kind of would want to see it. I'm pretty sure Alf would want to see it, but okay. Anyway, enough with the assumptions. No, I'd never. Terrible assumptions. I'm sorry. I'm assuming you do. I'm joking, but like, just assuming you're into the most debaucherous stuff. Like, maybe you are though. Otherwise, why would you phrase it that way? Oh, we're all waiting on you, Mr. McDongle. Alf Pogs. Alf. That's from Simpsons. Come on. Okay, so go on, explain it. Explain it again. No. Yeah, I know. And you're drunk too, so that's the modern culture. Love, danger, pain, loss. We live in a time where everyone is at risk of being doxxed and sued if we open up to the wrong person. Yeah. I mean, you really that love, danger, pain, loss thing really does sound just like my thing. Alf, I don't know how interested you are in it, but I did make a whole document. I don't know. Have you seen the documentary, The Whole Secret Trauma of Western Society, Behind Western Society? I don't know. Maybe it's not your thing, but I don't know. It does kind of go into, I don't know, but then I feel like RBs, I feel like I think you've seen it, haven't you? You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's like, yeah, that mini documentary I made talks about these kind of concepts. It's funny though, I wouldn't even attribute it to Rome anymore at this point. I almost feel like however it came to be, I feel like at one point there was a time, whether it was Rome or something, where all these precedents of how vulnerability is punishable and you know, might is right, and all these things were kind of instilled in us, however they were, whether it was through Rome or whatever, conflict. And yeah, now we're just in a time of undoing all of that shit. But yeah, like there was a time where all these crazy, horrible beliefs about what it means to be human and how vulnerability is bad, all this shit, somehow is instilled within us. But yeah, in the video I'm attributing all of it to like Rome, because I suppose, but this is the thing though, I've had a lot of confirmation that it really was that way, because Jesus, the only way Jesus could have had the impact he had was if he encountered an environment which was literally the antithesis of what he represented. Like the way, like I'll put it this way, the way to have the biggest impact is to be the most polar opposite to the thing that you're encountering and affecting. It's like, you know, if you have a group of people and they're all the same and you introduce a new person that's the exact same, most likely it's going to be fine, no ruptures. The most dangerous thing is to introduce someone who is the exact opposite of a culture and also has the upper hand spiritually and morally, because it's literally like releasing a demon or a poison into a fucking lake. It's like inherently iconoclastic, inherently like upends all hierarchy and permanently changes everyone, because it's just so. And that's what Jesus did, I think. But anyway, what brings me the most joy, seeing others get angry. Well done for being honest. And also helping me understand. Either that or you're joking. Either you're joking or you're being honest. If you're joking, that's fucking funny. And if you're being honest, well done. You know? Either way, I'm happy. But because look, if you're being honest, and even if you are joking and you backtrack and say you're joking, I'm taking that with me, and that's another feather in my hat in terms of understanding, because I've had the hunch that some people get off. I think anyone insightful enough eventually puts together the fact that there are demographics of people that somehow feed off of negative energy in whatever way because of what they've been through. They've just, but to have someone explicitly say it is a different matter, and it's also an honor, I suppose, as well, because it's like, thanks for having the balls to say it outright if you're being honest, but you might just be taking the piss. You can always go back on your word, man. In this empty space now is the period of time in which you can just say lol joke. You can always take it back. You can always beep 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 reverse the truck. Well, at least now. The moment you say you're serious, then the moment, it's funny, the moment you say you're serious is the moment like anyone can actually help you. Or like, I think you're serious though, and if that's the case, then man, what brings me the most joy is seeing others getting angry, frustrated, and annoyed about things that really don't even matter. So it's revenge, in a sense, right? Honesty often comes out as jokes, and jokes are often honesty. Of course, yeah. I don't think you're lying. I think you're somewhat telling the truth. And if that's true, then, and I've encountered a lot of people like that, I suppose you're just accustomed to be unhappy. You've grown very, very, as I have too. I mean, I'm English. I'm English. I know all about our addiction to shoving greyness into our lives and going, yeah, this is great. Like, just give me more of that shite. Like, But I'm also half Japanese, and I think being one half one culture and another half another culture gives me the ability to look down on things and tear them apart somewhat. So I think that's what frees me from being as trapped in these kind of ideas, even though I'm fully aware of them as an English person. Like the way we just heap grey into our mouths like cereal, like, yeah, fuck pleasure and being kind, and like, fuck it. Just make everything worse. Like, it was the Red Scare of the Cold War, right? Capitalism versus communism. Are you commie affected the US the same way loose lips sink ships made the English feel the need to stay quiet and polite? Yeah, create a hyper-capitalist culture, yeah. Oh shit, that's a very interesting way of looking at it. I mean, it's a way of looking at it. Are you commie affected the US the same way? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like all these phenomenological things that occur within culture that make, and for some reason it's just like in a lot of ways you could reduce it down to like to people collectively deciding that being less vulnerable and being more, you know, like falling in to the negative beliefs of dog eat dog, essentially. People just collectively deciding, I think it's best if we not feel and like, you know, let's keep closing the door. But yeah, I think in regards to what you said, Alf, I don't know, I can't help but attribute a lot of what you said to ideas that I've experienced and come across personally within English culture that I feel less affected by as someone who is half, because it's almost like I see it, but because I'm half, there's this other point of view, because Japanese culture has similarities between English culture, and also it is like okay, so I know this isn't really common knowledge, but I feel like it's worth mentioning, like there is a hierarchy of things that affect you at different levels. And what a lot of people don't know in the West, I think, is that, but it's most evident when you go to countries that have different ontologies, is that your ontological structure, the things that you believe on an ontological level, are the most powerful things. They're the things that define the way you experience reality. And the thing is, although Japanese culture and English culture have a lot in common, Japan has a fundamentally different ontology. Like it's almost like this, the central sun around which they revolve, the sun which their most fundamental beliefs revolve around are different to that of a lot of people in the world, a lot of places in the world. Like, and because of that, I don't know. I mean, being someone that's from England and Japan, it allows me to like look at both cultures in a way that I don't think is possible from someone that's purely from England or Japan. But like, yeah, because I'm half, I can actually see English culture in a way I feel a lot of English people can't. And the main thing I see is like ultimately just the willful decision to, for the sake of like progress and fitting in and being liked and a lot of reasons, just closing down the heart centers, really, to put it simply. It's what English culture really promotes, you know, like what are all our TV, I'm just evil maybe. what are all our TV shows, right? Like you can actually see what a culture values through the television shows that you see, because television is showing, you know, often it's saying, this is what we are, this is what we represent as a culture, this is what will be approved of, this is what we know people like, that's what's on TV. And so if you look at Spanish TV or Brazilian TV and you compare it to English, you can see in English TV, so much of what we prioritize is being smart, being right, winning the argument in a very specific way. And like, I can't tell you the freedom I feel having been born in this system, yet also being able to exit it. But there's also there's always been there's a loneliness to it as well, because it's like I can see through it, but it also makes me kind of an alien in my own country a bit. But anyway, let's not get into that. But Japan's society is really interesting. You rarely get to see vulnerability from common folks. There's a social mask that a lot of Japanese people uphold in public. Yeah, for sure. But it's because their ontology is different. The central, I'm repeating myself a bit, but yeah, like I can't explain it any other way. As someone who's like half Japanese and like lived in Japan partially, like the central sun, the spiritual sun around which people govern themselves is different from in Japan and in the West. And so that's why like Japanese people will see a Western conflict and just kind of feel nothing about it. And it's the same vice versa. Like you'll go to Japan and you'll see arguments that as a Western person, you don't, it's like you don't even understand why they're arguing. You're just like, oh, right, okay. What? Like that annoys you? It's like, it's almost as if the point that we have to prove in the West is different from the point they feel the need to prove in the East or in Japan. And because they're so diametric, like they're so opposite, we just kind of look at each other funny, just go like, you care about that? Oh, that's weird. Who even cares? Like what? And it's just a funny thing. But it just goes to show how like crazy belief structures are, and how like really deep ones can make it seem as if can make it, because it's why like there's so much mystery between us, between like the West and the East, because we're like, why are they like that, you know what I mean? But if you understand, it's because some of the most invisible or deepest beliefs differ between the cultures, and that's why we seem so mysterious to each other. Then it makes more sense, because there are like invisible rules that are like fundamentally different from each other, and that's why they're mystified with each other often. I find I think, at least anyways, I think it's a pretty accurate theory. But yeah, I have a friend that calls me Shuppet. What, like the Pokemon? Because I get so much joy out of others seeing getting all worked up. I mean, so you sound like, I didn't get it until I googled it, but I get it now. What? Shuppet? Oh, what, like the Pokemon? Hang on, I think it's Shuppet. I'm gonna look it up. I'm pretty sure it's the Pokemon. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's the Pokemon. That's hilarious, dude. My best friend lives in Japan, and we speak a lot about Eastern. Yeah, as you would. It's fucking interesting. Being half. Like, it's funny, like being English and Japanese, and someone who thinks about existential topics. I've had my homework, like to be able to live with myself and understand reality. Like, but it's, I'm complaining about it, but it's like a blessing. I'm very lucky. Like I feel like I get to understand both cultures in a way. I get to understand life in a way I feel like a lot of people don't, because of my understanding. But anyway, I'm sounding vain. No, that's fine. I think it's kind of true, to be honest. I'm quite lucky, so it's why I don't feel so vindicated. Whenever I complain, I'm always like, yeah, but you're pretty lucky, mate. Like, so I like this. I like it. I was just like, I'm evil, man. I'm evil. I'm a fucking Shuppet. I know you're not a millennial. Are you a millennial, Alf? I have a feeling you're more Gen X or even a boomer, but I think you're Gen X, right? Which one are you? It will help. These kind of things seem insignificant, but they help. What are you? Are you Gen X? Are you boomer? Are you millennial? Because really, on some level, if you're a millennial, I don't hate millennials. I kind of am a millennial, but like, I'm like the youngest of the millennials, and because of that, like, millennials are so much like boomers, man. Like, they're self-indulgent to the point of self-harm. Like, whereas like Gen X is, I might have to Google that. Google what? What generation you are? Or what? What do you mean? I'm baffled. Oh shit, this has been going for 3. I thought it was 2 hours, man. We're at 3 hours now. Fucking hell. 3 hour stream. It's a marathon now, I guess. Fucking 7 hours. Yeah, baby. We do that bullshit again. Maybe not. Boomers are from the age of 62. Yes. Yeah. Well, what did you think you were, and what are you? Because I think you sound like you. From what I know, if you're like 40, 50, you're Gen X, or you're like half boomer, half Gen X. I don't think you're millennial. The vibe I get from you is that you're Gen X or millennial. I don't know though. What age are you again? I swear you said you were like 40. But yeah, man. Boomers are old now. Like, God, I love boomers, but I love them, man. I love every generation for different reasons. The only generation that I have a problem with, and yet also admittedly am inspired by, is like the millennials, because I am a millennial. But yeah, dude, wait, hang on, you're an X/millennial. Holy shit, dude, you're like the best, man. You guys are great. Gen X are the fucking, you guys. I love Gen X. Are fucking awesome, man. And I only say that probably because I'm Gen Z, and Gen Z are like kind of Gen X-y. But okay, so anyway, it's a weird dynamic. Zennial. I'm a zillennial. You're like a zennial. Like, No, I'm a zillennial because I'm between Gen Z and millennial, and you're a zennial because you're between fucking millennial and Gen X. That's crazy. I have zero in common with millennials. Most of my friends are Gen X because of certain dynamics. 30 to 45 is millennial, so that then. So you're a fucking millennial. You're a fucking millennial, Alf. I now hate you. No. No, dude. The thing that I've noticed about a lot of millennials is just they do a lot of things to protect themselves that actually hurt them. That's the thing I've noticed. Like yeah, like a lot of the things they do for the sake of like self-preservation. And I say this as someone who's like technically, 30 to 45 is millennial. Like I'm 30. So you could say I'm a millennial, but having grown up and actually seeing millennials that are more millennially than me, I kind of just realized I'm kind of not a millennial. Like I suppose, Alf, you're on the other end of being a millennial. Like, I think. If you're like 40 or something. I don't know. I forget your age, Alf. But, yeah, I mean, I personally think Gen X is what you call her. But, but then, again, they have their own problems, I suppose. But yeah, like I suppose my only criticism. Hang on, will tell me about how your hate. Let me feed on your dark emotion. Yeah, well, it's not really. No, I won't even filter it. Look, dude, this is the paradox that I grew up in. Right, I was always the youngest in my class. I was always surrounded by other millennials that seemed to be living life more fully than me, especially when I was growing up. Right, and I saw them, and the problem is I can't hate on them too much now because I realize them living fully gave me something to aspire towards even when I couldn't keep up with them when it was happening. Like that, like it was painful. It's annoying because I saw because I was going through a lot of shit when I was growing up. So I couldn't live my best life basically when I was younger. I couldn't. I had as much fun as I could, but I was not living my best life as a kid. Not at all. As a teen or a kid, even a young adult really. Like, yeah. I've started doing it now. Like I feel like I'm beginning to really live now. Which is a crazy thing to say, but it's the truth. Yeah. Because I was performing. I had to perform. I had to be all these different things for my parents. I had boomer parents. So, like, yeah, I was just kind of like... But then when I saw a lot of the millennials, growing up with them, I could see... Like, they were all, even just a year older than me, but they were just more millennial than me. But, like, just a lot of them, I could just see, like... Okay, so they take the bull by the horns, and they're willing to take a lot of risks, and they're, like, brave to the point of stupidity, but they're also kind of, they care too much about appearances in a certain way. Like they care too much. Like they'd rather be perceived. They'd rather be mean and get to save face than look stupid caring. Than look stupid be seen to be seen caring and look stupid. In other words, they're scared to be vulnerable. And yet at the same time, with the right people, they're more vulnerable and more childish than anyone. So it's kind of like, I feel like there's kind of this self-fulfilling prophecy of like, I don't know. These are so personal. These takes are probably so arbitrary and personal and just so my own. But that's just what I saw. I saw a lot of like, and yet at the same time though, I will say they were also the most inspiring because because they lived so fully and I couldn't. I was like, as an adult, I'm like thankful because it made me realize, like at least they could be an example for how I could live. And now sometimes, in my desire to be more fully myself, I even take cues from like memories I have of people that, I once used to be, I suppose, jealous of or like kind of envious or like angry at because I couldn't keep up with them. And they'd give me shit for it, a bit of shit for it. They'd be like, oh, you're kind of lame, you're a loser. What are you doing? Dumb slogans they put on their fucking Facebook or whatever, social media. But yeah, that's my take, basically. It's not as hateful as you probably hoped, but I mean, take me back at 10 years and then I'd probably be able to give you some shit, but I wouldn't even be able to express it this way, probably. But yeah, 10 years ago, I was probably way more angry about it. I'd be like, hey, my fucking school mates were dicks, kind of thing. It would just be that simple. But in retrospect now, it's like, no, they were living and I couldn't. And I was just very jealous, I suppose. But in retrospect, it's like, no, they helped me. That's my beef. There you go. You are insane, sir. Yeah. Okay. When I was doing weed and I had very high tolerance to it, and it took me more to get stoned to know no one ever wanted to get stoned with me. Yeah, but that you sound like me. Oh wait, no. No, you don't sound like me. Hang on. You're the opposite. Sorry, I fucking misread what you said. I thought you said you had a low tolerance. I misread. So basically, you were too heavyweight for everyone, right? Oh, look at Mr. Cool over here. No, you probably were pretty cool, actually, to be honest. Yeah, that sounds pretty brutal, man. So you just outsmoke everyone and fucking ruin your lungs, man. Queer punks. Millennial grew up very lonely. Gen X had a lot of scenes, communities. Yeah. And tech to be used more heavily. A lot of things went away. So a lot of that generation lacks community. Right. Yeah, no, I did get the sense that Gen X were much more like together. And that made them kind of friendlier, though you guys are notoriously mean. But that's the thing. I think you're only mean to people that deserve it. So it's kind of like different. Whereas like I feel like millennials could be kind of like bitchy. I think that's the word, really. Like kind of bitchy. Like, but it's kind of not their fault though. I think it's like I think that prioritizing self-preservation was such a thing. That's the vibe I got anyway. These I don't know how accurate my takes are. But yeah, I mean, Alf, it just sounds like you're just no, you're not flexing. I mean, you're being objective, but yeah. Oh, look at Mr. Cool Pants over here, fucking smoke a whole score to himself. Mr. Heavyweight. I mean, that's cool, man. If you can do it, why not? Hey. But I think it's also, I don't know, it could be an indicator of how numb you are, or how it could be, you know, if you want insight, you know, that could be some sign of how disconnected you are from yourself or something washy like that. Man. All right, I'm off. Yeah, it's been long, man. This has been a very long stream. I've been thinking of calling it soon as well, actually. It's been fun. Yeah, it has been fun, man. Thank you for dropping by. It's going to be on tomorrow, I think. So, yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for your contributions. Honestly, yeah, I might call it soon, man. Yeah, more time. I gotta make a move. Cheers. Yeah, it's fucking late, man. It's 3 a.m. and yeah, I might call it soon. I don't even know who else is here. I fell asleep. Yeah, no, I had a feeling. Yeah, or it's autism. I don't know what you're responding to, Alf. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, people. I don't know. Like I'm kind of mixed feelings. I don't know what to call it. No. You know what? I should call it purely because I was thinking, I could play guitar, but I think everyone's just fucking like half dead, so I'm just gonna call it. Fuck it. It's been 3 hours, so yeah, it's been a pleasure, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up because everyone's falling asleep and dying. So yeah, or busy. I think moreover. So yeah, I'm gonna call it. But thank you, and yeah, I don't know. I look forward to playing guitar for you guys. That'll be fun. At some point. What are you gonna play now that I'm gone? Yeah, right. Yeah, that's yeah. Away from the pressure of it all. No, no. The problem is I was thinking about getting into it. You know. Even. Yeah. Even no. But while I was even earlier in the stream, I was thinking before I started that was usually to watch in bed. Yeah. Good night, man. Even early in the stream, I was thinking of getting into guitar, but I was like, maybe not. But. Yeah, no, I kind of want to play in private, so I think I'm gonna play it. I don't know. Yeah, we'll call it. Fuck it. Good night, everyone. I'm gonna end the stream now. It's been a pleasure. Do I want to play the guitar? Just like fucking just end it with me playing, and then whoever leaves. But yeah, I might just play. I just play you guys off. Just play and just shred as you guys like go to bed. He left shredding. We left him and he was just on a chair just shredding alone. Alright, fuck it, yeah. Everyone's ending. I'm gonna go. Good night, guys. Peace out. It was a pleasure. Alf, one day we'll get to the bottom and expose you, even though you don't want that. We'll expose more cracks. See, Alf, this is the point. It's like you say you don't like your cracks being exposed. That sounds very sexual. You say you don't like your cracks being exposed, but then you like also poke towards it. Anyway, all right. Good night.